This to the White House
on News Radio 570 WWNC.
Hi, this is Quentin. A little thing I love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips are how satisfying they are. The chicken strips are amazing. They're always filling, crispy, tender, and juicy. Definitely one of my favorite things on the menu. Especially when you add in that Chick-fil-A sauce. Always the perfect combination. And then personally, you know me, I'm getting a 4 count. I want as much chicken as possible. I'm that guy. Whenever I get them, whether it be lunch or for dinner, in my household, it's always a winner.
Order the chicken strips on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customer paid for their testimonial.
Get ready for our iHeartRadio album release party with the Black Keys.
Don't miss the iHeartRadio album release party with us, the Black Keys.
On the night of the release of the band's new album, Ohio Players. Live from the iHeartRadio Theater in Los Angeles.
We'll be performing and talking all about our new album.
Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app's alt radio station.
Summit Dental is accepting new patients. At Summit, they submit insurance on your behalf and provide you with estimates, so you have everything you need to make an informed treatment decision. They also work with Care Credit, and they're happy to help you apply. Care Credit helps you pay for out-of-pocket healthcare expenses. See why Summit Dental has so many 5-star reviews on Google. Book today at AshevilleSummitDental.com. In-house savings programs are also available. Book online at AshevilleSummitDental.com.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The pounding begins. The wagons are circled. Every wind is raidered. It's football time in America. And this republic has never been stronger. Beer City's best sports talk. Live from the Ingalls studio.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We are seen everywhere on YouTube. You can go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat each and every day. We're counting down the days to the 2024 NFL Draft.
Oh, Draftmas tree, oh, Draftmas tree.
It is Draftmas season. We are continuing to make our plans for the coverage of the NFL Draft.
It's getting real. It's getting real. It's going to be really happening.
We could have some exciting news for you coming soon about our coverage of said draft in Detroit, Michigan. So stay tuned for that. Of course, Flostradamus is, he's always there to help us through the lying season, playing fun games like Who Wants You to Know That and Buy or Sell. And we'll go through all the latest rumors out there, any breaking news that happens in the NFL search for anything relevant. The biggest story of the NFL Draft today
is
NC State basketball star DJ Burns generating NFL interest as Wolfpack make Final Four run. Brian Hall asked me about this yesterday morning, and I thought he was joking. I just thought this was, Brian Hall trying to be, Mr. Yuck Yuck. Hey, how about my NC State Wolfpack? Apparently, this is an actual rumor that actual people with actual brains believe that NFL teams are going to be interested in signing up DJ Burns.
Well, yes, as an undrafted free agent, to bring him into camp and see if he can play dead in a cowboy movie. I would say there's a better chance he gets drafted in the NBA because, that draft is looking a little thin. This year's NBA draft coverage. It happened. That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jingle out.
Yay. See, I could see that happening. I could see an NBA team taking DJ just as the story, right? The storyline to have him in the building, maybe a little pop for the, I don't know, the Greensboro Swarm to be able to have NC State's magical run face of the tournament.
And we do have to give Hubert Queen credit. He did have this yesterday. And I'm not going to lie, I saw it in the chat, and I went, that can't be a real thing.
No.
And then it was.
That's the thing. I thought it was a joke and went, well, that's not really a storyline.
One would think it wouldn't be, but, here we are.
Well, I mean, Peter Schrager, apparently he's spoken to multiple scouts and general managers over the weekend, and they're interested in DJ Burns as a tackle prospect.
Yeah, he's a little thin for that. If you're really 275, which, come on, bro.
Well, that's why. That's why, because he would be 6'8", 305 pounds, maybe.
I would say right now, if I were a betting man, if we were playing that game they play at the county fair, I will say DJ Burns is 6'7", 315.
Okay.
I mean, as a reasonably fat man myself, game recognizes game, bruh. You ain't no 275.
My question is, though, can you take any big man with athletic ability and teach him how to do this?
Any? No. One in a generation? Sure. Do I think that's DJ Burns? No, I don't. No, I think this is the definition of, man, we really don't want to talk about anything else. No matter how good it might be, we don't want to talk about it.
Right.
So DJ Burns might play in the NFL. I'm not going to say that the texts haven't been sent, because over the years I've been asked what I thought about a lot of guys that played basketball. We did this. It was really vogue to put big post players at tight end after Antonio Gates and Jimmy Graham. I don't buy it.
Mm-hmm. What is I don't understand this quote from the story that says, the scouts and general managers indicated to Peter Schrager that Burns would, quote, get big turnout and potentially money if he participated in a pro day or a workout the week after the Final Four.
I don't understand what you're
Where
trying
does
to say
the
there.
money come in?
The money would be in a bonus as a priority undrafted free agent.
Oh, okay.
He's not talking about there's going to be a cash inlay if he does a pro day.
See, and that's what I was thinking. It was like, wait, guys don't get paid for pro days.
No, what he was saying is that he could make himself some money by doing a pro day.
Mm-hmm.
Will he do it? I have no idea. He might. He might do it. He might not.
I mean, I guess we have stories like this. Well, hell, we just had one the other day. Some rugby guy is being signed by the Kansas City Chiefs in the international.
Does the name Jared Bernhardt mean anything to you?
No.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Because he's been on the roster for the Atlanta Falcons for 3 years.
Uh-huh.
He was the lacrosse Heisman, played at Ferris State for a year. He actually played football for a year.
Mm-hmm.
He had 5 catches in 3 years. Stop doing this. Stop asking me if LeBron James can play in the NBA.
Right.
Or if he can play in the NFL. Stop it. Okay? Stop it.
Yeah. DJ Burns. Apparently, there's some interest in looking at him as a tackle in the NFL. I'm not saying somebody wouldn't kick the tires on it. I depending on what that's going to cost me.
$25,000. I'll tell you exactly what it costs.
Then maybe it's worth it.
I'll tell you exactly what it costs. Because he would be, and it might be a little more than that. I don't think teams don't tend to give up big money and big money with an undrafted free agent. Because let's just shut this down right now. I don't care how bad the back end of this draft is. He ain't getting drafted.
Mm-hmm.
That's not happening.
Much more likely that he gets drafted in the NBA draft than the NFL draft, though.
Well, I mean, if there's a snowball's chance in Atlanta, it's better than him getting it. There's a better chance of me getting drafted in the NFL draft than DJ Burns.
Yes.
I just don't really know what you think you're going to get out of this. And it's really not. It's only a story because he is actively a story right now. We like him so much. Here's how I think this went, because I'm in a lot of threads like this where you get somebody in the NFL that says, hey, I bet he could be a really good offensive tackle. And somebody took that and went, slow news day, we ride at dawn. Next thing you know, it has a living, breathing life of its own.
Right. And the discussion sparks from there of how much money could he make, how much. Because when I heard this rumor, after, realizing that this rumor is growing and it's not just a joke, thought, man, that's just like the sports cycle that has been repeating itself for the last 5 years at least, of we will try to turn anything into NFL content.
So last year, I'll just give you a point of comparison. Last year, a guy like Mo Ibrahim. Now, you remember him. He was running back that played at Minnesota. He signed with the Lions. He was on the practice squad. He got a deal that had $100,000 guaranteed in it. DJ Burns would not touch that. Now, could he turn into something? Sure. Every once in a while, you hit a guy like Antonio Gates, who became one of the best tight ends of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think DJ Burns is doing that? No. No, I don't.
But Antonio Gates was also a football player, right?
Younger in life.
Okay. He did not play in college.
No.
Okay. I mean, I knew he played basketball.
Jimmy Graham played for a year because you remember we had the Greg Paulus rule,
yes.
which the fact we ever did that is so comically stupid to me. And it really started a lot of these really dumb NCAA rules of, well, technically you have 5 years of eligibility, but you can only play 4 in one sport.
Yeah, you get your grad year.
And then you wind up with Greg Paulus playing quarterback at Syracuse and Jimmy Graham out here dunking on uprights at Miami.
I mean, it was fun for 5 minutes. The Greg Paulus thing was fun for a little bit.
You know when it was fun with Greg Paulus? When he went away to never be seen or heard from again by the National Lexicon.
Yes.
He was another Dookie that I hated him.
Nope.
With the fire of 1,000 suns. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even a Carolina fan. Like, I am a casual observer. I picked a team in this state solely to have a rooting interest. Duke fans irritate me so badly that I just went Carolina. Mm-hmm. Well, because I do like to win every once in a while. And, well, state didn't feel like the way to go there.
Well, I mean,
I know it's going great for you right now, and congratulations to all you staters. But
right.
That's why I went to Carolina fans.
I brought this up because, I mean, obviously, well, one, it is facts. Don't care about your feelings. It is the spiciest take we have regarding the NFL draft in the news right now, which tells you how dead this is.
Well, that's because you're in. This is not really the dead period. This is like the eye of the storm. Because you've been flooded with so much misinformation that now it's almost like we have to do a reset. And people like me have to go, okay, I've heard J.J. McCarthy's name so many times that I need a week to just reboot, start back on Monday, we'll be okay. Mm-hmm. Eat and Sleep Football asked how many pieces of clothing he had to remove for the wide receiver top 13 rankings. I don't know if you understand what bartering means or how trade works, but we could definitely get to wide receivers. I think I've already put that out, haven't I?
I think we have. I think we've already done the top 13. We did that.
I know I haven't. I mean, it's on my screen, so I could easily get it out.
We haven't done a post-combine top 13 wide receivers.
See previous. But Xavier Worthy ran a 4.21. Awesome. So did Usain Bolt. There's an equal chance of me drafting one as the other.
I mean, Xavier Worthy might have gone up 2 spots into the top 20.
Not for me.
Not for you?
No.
Really?
You know how much his spot moved?
None.
What surprised me about that?
Okay.
At what point did I ever look at Xavier Worthy and go, I bet that guy could run a 4.5? Oh, he runs by every guy on a college football field. I'll bet you he's pretty fast. Did nothing for me. He still can't catch. Mm-hmm. That's a bit of a whiffle.
It is.
Kind of a problem when you can't catch.
I mean, I don't know. Figure that would at least, generational type speed would lift your draft stock a little bit.
Not for me.
Okay.
Let me look at go down that list of guys that have run sub 4.340s. Tell me how many Pro Bowlers you see on that list, because it ain't many. John Ross is on line 1.
Mm-hmm.
Also, could not catch to save his life.
Mm-hmm. The DJ Burns story, though, is just a perfect example of how there is a large headline that's not related to football at all. Yet we, as a media, as a fan base, as a community of sports lovers, will immediately try to turn anything into a football story.
That's because of what we do. I mean, look, all right, so just look at what we did last night. You have, without a doubt, the biggest night in the history of women's basketball. Mm-hmm. It is not debatable. Mm-hmm. I said it in Greene on Greene yesterday. This is the biggest day we've ever had. We've been building to this for a year. We've really been building to this for 10 years. What was the first thing we want? Well, Caleb Gart got off $5 million to play the Big Three. When's the last time you watched a Big Three basketball game?
Never.
Ever?
I mean, I have. I went to an event once when they came to Charlotte in the first year. And then I didn't care about it ever again.
Ever again.
Nope.
But that got Tank and I down a rabbit hole. And if you're watching us on the YouTubes, you see that the title of today's here program is The Business of Sports, the Generational Decline. Because I have seen a lot of things. And I have a lot of empirical evidence that for as bad as I say it is for other sports, it's actually worse.
It's worse.
It's actually worse. And right now there are 3 ascending sports in this country. There's the NFL, there's college football, and there's women's basketball. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the part where I'm going to say something that's just because you don't want to hear it doesn't mean that it's not true. You started so damn low that the fact that you've gotten to this point is A, amazing, and B, impressive. But you still have only just gotten to where the men are actively. You call me whatever you want to. Mm-hmm. Facts don't care about your feelings. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
The question is, where do you go from here? And I don't know the answer to that. Because I don't know that Paige Buckers or Juju Watkins, or I don't know that they're ever going to live up to what Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark gave you. For one very simple reason. We are basic people. As a society, we are as basic as it gets. We need a good and we need a bad. We need somebody to cheer for. We need somebody to cheer against. And after the break, I'm going to tell you a stat about college basketball that everybody is losing their minds about right now of, oh, look how great this is. You're setting yourself up for just a whale of a failure. And it's going to come this weekend. And you're going to see something. And when the number comes out, you'll go, huh, that fat mulleted idiot's been trying to tell us that for years. Mm-hmm. And I'd bet my house on it.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
The roof is the most important part of the home, and this month ESPN Asheville and Balkan Roofing are giving one away free of charge. Through April, go to espnavl.com and click on the Balkan Roofing's Roofing for a Reason. Follow the link to nominate a homeowner in need of a new roof and why they should be our winner. At the end of the month, one iHeart Asheville winner will be selected. Make your nominations again at espnavl.com. Roofing for a Reason with Balkan Roofing.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
But I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Febreze. So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
It's the moment you dream of, the moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for, the moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time, the moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Oh, we're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville inside the Ingles studio.
Sorry if you're watching us on YouTube. I did not have a stroke. I have an extra keyboard that is wireless in my bag, and apparently I knocked it over when I got up in the break.
And it turned on and started typing things in the chat.
Yes. Apparently it was pressing the enter button. So anything that as soon as I touched my computer, it went, "Send that now! Send it now! Do it now!"
It was quite hilarious. All of a sudden, just a string of numbers and letters start showing up from the Sportsocracy in the chat. And Evan Doyle says, "I think he's trying to communicate with the fifth dimension." You can follow us in the on the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat and tell us when something goes awry.
Here's the thing, folks. Like DJ Burns, there's a mess of me, and sometimes you get in your own way, and that's what I did.
Yep. He's just spamming everybody in the YouTube chat.
No doubt. I mean, now don't talk to it because it might channel a demon or something. I don't know what 40 pluses and 5T3 means, but yikes.
That's that code stuff you've been telling me about all these years. I don't get computer code, so I'm not sure what you're trying to tell us.
Look, when you start seeing birds fall out of the sky, you'll get it. You'll get it because I just rebooted them all. What about it? Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, am I going to get apologies then? I think not.
No.
There's still non-believers.
Yep.
Going to walk out there and be 5,000 crows laying in the field at Radio Ranch, just waiting to be restarted.
Non-believers, just like just like me when it comes to the decline and, as you say it, the inevitability of the crash of every sport except for football.
Well, it's not. It depends on what you mean by crash. There is a humor to me. All right, so for those of you that don't know this, my background is actually in marketing. So that's what I did. That was sales, marketing, things like that. So I can look at empirical evidence and go, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And this is what I've always said about baseball. Baseball's numbers go down. So everything you do to generate revenue goes through the floor, and your contracts go up. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any sense. And if you want to know when a company is non-viable, when it gets more expensive to do it and you make less money, that's non-viable. Baseball's had this forever, and there's nothing you can do about it. There has to be a market correction at some point. Every entity that puts your programming on television would get out of their deal if they could. Now, the good thing for Major League Baseball is that you sign deals that, well, they'll go until most of your fan base is long dead. Mm-hmm. So I guess signing 40-year contracts or whatever it was they signed when they renegotiated with ESPN, that'll work out for you. Here's what I saw last night. I saw a great combination of really good basketball with the women's Elite Eight. I saw 4 really marketable entities because you have villains, depending on how you look at this. Mm-hmm. If you follow the LA Times article, then LSU was the villain. If you don't like Angel Reese, then LSU was the villain, and Caitlin Clark was the hero. Now, if you don't like Caitlin Clark, you can flip it. You can do the same thing with Gino Auriemma. You can do the same thing with Juju Watkins. The problem is that you have exactly 4 of those. Mm-hmm. The good thing is you got them all. But now you're going into a Final Four where you have 2 of them. That's a problem.
Is it?
South Carolina, depending on how you view Dawn Staley and some of the things she said, they can be a hero or a villain. So you get Iowa and South Carolina, you're going to have opinions on each side.
Yes.
I'm not saying one's right or wrong. It doesn't matter.
No.
That part of it doesn't matter.
You have great storylines to pull for on
exactly.
either side.
And in a minute, I'm going to give you a piece of empirical evidence that tells you exactly what I'm trying to say. If you're a lay observer, there is something you can find to like or dislike, and that is exactly what you're looking for, because at the end of the day, sports is a television product. I'm trying to give you a hero and a villain. Mm-hmm. If you've ever noticed when you watch television, you don't often, unless you're 4, get a show where everybody's just dancing and happy and everything's good. There's always a bad guy because you need somebody to root against. That is how drama works. Now, I look at the men's Final Four. Who you hate? Who's left that you hate? You hate Purdue? You might hate Zach Edey. You may think he gets way too many foul calls. Mm-hmm. And they're playing spunky little upstart NC State, and we can get behind the underdog. We don't watch it. Never do. Never have. Never will. But you get behind it. In the state of North Carolina, by God, we're all Packers this weekend. You think that plays in Louisiana? You think that plays in Texas? You think it plays in L.A.? You think it plays in New York? You think it plays in Florida? Because it doesn't.
It plays to every sports fan, in my opinion.
Of course it does, because you grew up in a belt that really cares about college basketball. Mm-hmm. As a guy that's traveled to New York a lot in my life, I'll go ahead and tell you, they couldn't care less if they tried. DJ Burns, cute story. You're going up against Zach Edey. Another cute story. You got knocked out as the 1 seed last year. Nobody's hateable. I can root for NC State, and that game will throw probably a decent number. Mm-hmm. It won't touch what you got against Duke. Do you know how many people watched Duke, NC State?
No.
The number was 15.5 million. That's 5 million more than any game has gotten in this tournament.
Yep.
Why? Because Duke's the villain. We can root against Duke because we don't like Duke. Because Duke always has the big whiny white guy. Kyle Filipowski, Kyle Singler, Christian Leitner. It's a lot of C names. I never realized that. They have that guy that I can look at and go, good God, I hate Duke. Or you love Duke. Mm-hmm. That works. UConn's not hateable. Average fan couldn't name me more than one player on that team. Mm-hmm. Alabama's not hateable. They have a coach that wears goofy jackets and does nothing but fire three-pointers and shots in the lane. Purdue's not hateable. They've never been here, and they have a 90-year-old former coach that's going with them everywhere they go. And you feel good that Gene Cady might actually get to see one of these in his lifetime. NC State's not hateable because they're the spunky little upstart. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to hate here. I've read this. I've read this book. I know how it ends. It ends with a bad number for the 6th out of the last 8 years. You know when college basketball works?
When's that?
When you have Duke and Kansas and North Carolina and Villanova in a Final Four. And if you look at the numbers since COVID happened, that's the one time it's rated well. You can't duplicate that every single year. You can't do it. Mm-hmm. And my problem with men's college basketball is what always worked to a point was that we would get Cinderellas and then they would eschew themselves into blue bloods, and we would watch that because we all either cared about Carolina or we hated Duke or we hated Kentucky or we hated John Calipari or we loved UCLA. Whatever it was, there was something you could go, that's why I'm going to watch this. NC State gets beat. What are you watching? You think Donovan Clingan and Zach Edey you think that's selling things? Big dudes. And we've been over this for 40 years. It doesn't sell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it would be Baylor Houston bad, because that's a whole nother level.
Yep.
Won't be good. It won't be good.
Yeah, what's good? What would be good?
What Duke did, what Duke NC State did. That's what you expect.
$15 million.
15 million.
I mean, 15 million people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, that is good, but you can't be expected to hit that number.
Really, and why is that?
As you just laid out.
In the history of the
There's
NCAA
less
tournament.
intrigue in that matchup.
In the history of the NCAA tournament, how many times have less than 15 people watched the 15 million people watched the title game?
Oh, God, I don't know.
It's never happened.
Never happened.
Never once.
Okay.
It will happen with UConn Purdue.
Really?
100%. This will be the lowest rated national title game ever.
I no. I refuse to
Explain
believe
it to me.
If no less than 15 million people have ever watched a championship, which means this would rate worse than that Baylor-Houston.
Baylor-Houston was in the Final Four. Baylor and Gonzaga played in the championship game. They got 17 million people.
Okay.
You'll never touch it. You'll never touch it.
Wow.
And that game was over. That game was over within 8 minutes.
No, wait. Who was the villain in that matchup?
There wasn't one. This is where all this started. This is the point I'm getting to.
Okay.
Because that game did 17.08 million. How many people watched the second half? It was less than 10. Okay. And I'm convinced that's the day this sport died. The following year, you got a Final Four with Kansas, Villanova, Carolina, and Duke. And that propped you up for a year, and you went, yeah, this will work. Then last year happened. UConn, FAU, San Diego State. Death.
Yep.
Immediate, unequivocal death.
Yes.
Now you have another Final Four that is immediate, unequivocal death outside NC State. You can disagree with it all you want to. You're a college basketball fan. This is the same thing you've done with baseball the entire time we've done this. I've never not been right. The entire time I've never not been right. And you can look at the viewership now and go, you've been right the entire time. And I'm right about this too.
Okay.
We live in a state that is very insulated in college basketball. Because if you grew up here and this is all you know, you watched the ACC in third period when you were in the fourth grade. They don't do that in other states. I've traveled all over this country. They don't care.
Of course not.
You're pandering to the West Coast with a Carolina-Alabama game. Weird. The number wasn't as high as you would want it to be. Weird. North Carolina didn't draw a number in a game that was infinitely better. Didn't draw nearly as big a number because you played it at 10 o'clock at night.
The problem I'm having getting to your assertion here that the ratings will drop for this championship, but that goes against every trend that we've seen so far in this tournament. The first weekend of the tournament was the most watched in 20 years.
Okay.
This past weekend, ratings went up.
And why was that? Why was this the most watched first two weekends? This ain't hard to figure out.
Okay, give it to me.
The most popular state for college basketball, which is the one we're sitting in right now. Hey, they just made sports betting legal. Hey, that gave me a reason to watch it.
You don't think that gives a reason to watch the next one?
Real hard to bet when you've got one team that's a 9.5-point favorite and you got another one that's a 12.5-point favorite. It's kind of hard to bet that. I'm not telling you that the average bettor won't do it. I'm just telling you they won't do it at the same level. I don't have an underdog that I can go 4-team parlay with 4 dogs and make $1,200 on a $50 wager. I don't have that. I can throw out a ton of points, and it is hard to lay 12.5 points, especially against a team like Alabama. It's not fun to bet. I'm not saying I won't do it. I'll go ahead and tell you, I'll bet every leg of it. I'll have player props. I'll have all kinds of things. I'm also a professional gambler. The average fan looks at UConn and goes, this is not going to be stopped. It's not. Alabama's not going to beat you. NC State's not going to beat you. Purdue's not going to beat you because they can't contend with you. And so, yes, I do firmly believe the number is going to go down. Might it be higher than it was last year? Maybe, because you had San Diego State, which I'm not sure the city of San Diego cares about.
Exactly.
Outside of Raleigh, outside of this state, nobody cares about NC State either. I hate to break your heart. Nobody cares. Go to Texas and ask them ask even what the mascot of NC State is. 4 in 10 people couldn't tell you. 4 in 10 sports fans couldn't tell you. Because you've been irrelevant forever. We've done this. Over and over and over and over again, we've done this. What is the difference between NC State and San Diego State?
Different coast.
And then? It's the same team. You just like watching one of them.
One actually has championships to its credit. Two.
When half of us were not alive when it happened, when I couldn't tell you what year it is, and I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what year the second was. I can tell you they had one in 83.
Yeah.
With a coach that was vibrant and fun to watch. Kevin Keats, not fun to watch. It's a great story. It's fun. We want Cinderellas to die. It's the way this works. Colin Cowherd's been saying this for what feels like 25 years, and he's never been wrong.
Yeah.
Because they get to this point, and we know you are substandard, because we look at Zach Edey and go, that's the National Player of the Year. And DJ Burns was fun, and it was cute, and he is going to kill you. He's going to kill you because you are not what they are. I watch Purdue. I watch NC State. It don't look the same. I watch UConn. I watch NC State. It don't look the same. You got here. That's cute. That's adorable. It ain't going to push a number.
It's UConn and nobody else.
That's the point.
It's UConn and nobody else in this Final Four. And at this point, you're just you're rooting for somebody to pull the upset.
And now here's where I will get into the bigger point that I had here. How did we get here? How did we get to a point that we're looking at a UConn that is so unbelievably daunting that it almost takes your interest of it out? Because you're watching this going, that's the best team in college basketball, no doubt. They squished San Diego State last year. They'll squish Alabama this year. They'll squish whoever they play in the national title game. Hey, what does that sound like? What does that sound eerily like?
Women's basketball.
Women's basketball forever, and nobody cared.
Yep.
You know when we cared? When we had 4 teams. When we had Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins. We had UConn. We had South Carolina. Because I can find somebody to root for or root against. Men's college basketball has a great big problem, and it's real, real simple. You're losing Jay Wright one time a year. Jay Wright was easily watchable because I knew Jay Wright is a premier coach. Jay Wright could be an NBA coach. Who's the coach at Villanova now?
Don't know.
My point exactly. You keep replacing known entities with nobodies, and they might be people. They might be a somebody in the business. They're a nobody on the national landscape, and so you keep doing this. And there's atrophy year over year. There's no more Coach K. There's no more Roy Williams. Now it's Hubert Davis. Nobody cares about Hubert Davis outside of North Carolina. Nobody cares about John Shire outside of North Carolina. They just don't. No. This is not an opinion. This is based in fact. The only thing that is keeping Duke rating is the Duke across the front of the jersey. You don't have a Duke left. And you don't have a Duke left every single year because Duke doesn't have Coach K. Well, what happens? Over the course of time, the bad guy is no longer the bad guy. Bad guy's not a bad guy. It's not the big scary monster out of the bed when you can boop him on the nose and he goes away. It's kind of hard for me to be scared of you when I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of Duke. I haven't been scared of Duke in years. I wasn't scared at the end of Duke at the end of Coach K's run. Oh, we're recruiting 7 5-stars. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? They're all flawed prospects that come in here and are just a different level of broken. And I'll take these 5 seniors and beat your brains out just like NC State did. But nobody wants to watch that. I don't want to watch disciplined basketball. I want to watch stars. You don't have stars. Most popular player in college basketball right now is who?
In all of college basketball?
Nope, just men's college basketball. I'll get to where you're headed in a second.
I was going to say, I guess probably Zach Edey.
Who's 2?
Hell, I don't know.
There you go. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
There are no more stars.
It's DJ Burns now.
And you know why we're clinging on to that? Because we watched all these nameless, faceless teams that were just dudes that we've never even heard of. Like, Morehead State in Illinois. This is fun. Hey, what's that guy's name? Could you show the numbers a little brighter? Because I can't figure out who's who here. I don't know any of these players. I don't care. I bet it, which means I'll care, and I'll watch in the first weekend. It's not going to sustain. What does that do? That takes your Buicks and all these huge high-end endorsers, and they go, why would I continue to spend money at something that, let's use numbers because I like numbers. 10 years ago to this year, you had 22 million people that watched UConn, Kentucky in the national title game. If we played this twice, would you get 22 million people?
What do you mean?
If we played this game twice, once on Monday night, once on Tuesday night, would you get 22 million different people to watch it?
No.
The answer is no.
No.
I'm still paying the same rate, escalated, if I'm Buick, who is one of the title sponsors, and you'll see 5,000 of their commercials. Capital One, same thing. I'm paying an escalated rate from then. Why would I do that? Why would I continue to do that? And then I take the money away, and the money dwindles. What does that sound like? Major League Baseball. You ran into the same problem because you allowed all of the rules and all of the crap to take away all of your stars. We don't care if you don't have stars. Major League Baseball, the average fan could not name 5 players. 5. Q rating just came out a few months ago. There are 2 Major League Baseball players that are in the top 500. Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge.
What the hell's Q rating?
It's a metric for how known you are. It basically ranks celebrities. Kardashians rate super high because basically it's when I say your name, how many people know who you are and have an opinion on you.
Yeah.
There are 2 baseball players in the top 500. It's Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, and both of them are outside of the top 200. You know how many the NFL has?
How many?
Over 20 in the top 100.
Okay.
That's why you're in good shape. College football, I got bad news for you. You're in the same boat. You have a much more popular product, and you lead into the most popular, which is the NFL draft. So we're looking for players.
Yeah.
You lose the Sabans, you lose the high-end coaches. You're almost insulated from that because we care about your playoffs. We care about the schools. We'll always be an Alabama football fan. We'll always be a Michigan football fan, an Ohio State football fan. You know, Duke. How many old-school Duke fans do you know? Guys that pull for them in like the 70s. Or does every Duke fan you know go, oh, I grew up with Coach K? Or in my formative years, we had Coach K. See a lot of people that are going to form that connection with John Shire?
Never know.
No, I do, because I've watched this. I've watched other schools do this. Even Bill Self, who is one of the most successful coaches in the history of college basketball, he doesn't rate the way Roy did. Because Roy was short, little, 100%.
Okay.
And now here, it's not even close. Because Roy was the homegrown, hometown guy. But he coached the school that he went to. You lose those one at a time, year over year. And then you get to a point where, and I'm not trying to take a stab here at the guy because I like the guy and we know him, Pat Kelsey at Louisville. That might be the most sterile hiring I've ever seen in my life. Because there's nothing to you. You don't rev me up or deflate me. He's a great coach. Is he going to sell tickets?
No.
Are people going to show up to watch Louisville basketball if he's going 22-10?
But you don't really have those guys left.
That's my point. You got to create them. You got to create them, and you do a terrible job of that. Because here's what happened, and this is really just a tenet of the tournament. Because we do this every single year. We get a guy like Dusty May. Perfect example. Dusty May becomes a name because he takes FAU to the Final Four. Then he comes back to FAU for another year, and they get knocked out in the first round. Then he takes the Michigan job. This is your hot prospect. He's a younger coach. He could be a great coach. He could turn Michigan around. Anybody care?
No.
You think anybody outside of Ann Arbor, Michigan looks at Dusty May and goes, God, I can't wait to watch Michigan basketball next year?
No.
Did that with Jay Wright. Did it with Coach K. Did it with Roy Williams. College basketball fans, on the large part, did it with Bill Self. He never hit on the same level because he wasn't as dapper as Jay Wright. He wasn't as legendary as Kay and Roy and Dean, and he's never hit that way. And now you have nothing. The three biggest coaches in the entity now are who? Tom Izzo, who can't get out of the first weekend. He's done it 2 times in 10 years. Dan Hurley, who is about as likable as a hemorrhoid. I think he's a great coach, and I like him a lot. In terms of selling on a national landscape, you have a better chance of selling Metamucil. I couldn't even tell you who 3 is. I guess it's Bill Self. I guess he's the last of the old guard. He won't be around for long.
John Calipari.
Who can't get out of the first weekend. The one time a year we care about this sport, all of your best coaches are gone. And we're left with Nate Oates and Kevin Keats and Matt Painter.
And it's all because it's a different era.
That's the problem.
It's a different era where the old coaches, they either, 1, couldn't do it anymore at the same level, or 2, didn't care to try to do it that well anymore because it got too difficult, because the game changed too much, because of the NIL stuff, because there's more for them to to focus on or have to focus on that's taken away from the one thing that I got into this game to do. The game is changing, and you have to, yes, you're right, you have to create new stars. But only time is going to bring that about.
Well, the time is a big problem because you're getting broken players that go through the AAU system. All right. I saw a graphic of how many seniors and upperclassmen are in this Elite Eight. That's weird. Couldn't name any of the names, can you? You can name DJ Burns because he's got a big smile and a gigantic head, and he looks like he weighs about 25 pounds, and he dances like a ballerina. You can name Zach Edey. Can you name anybody else? Oh, you know Duke because we played against them and we're Carolina affiliates. Average fan, here's Jeremy Roach. Who is that? It's one of the guards for Duke. That's a problem. And I want you to. I've always called this the NCAA football game theory. Remember when that game was popular when we were kids, and you had all of the players, and you could go, "That's Jameis Winston." He was the last player I remember.
Okay,
that's Jameis Winston. I could play with Jameis Winston. I'll go through 4 or 5 years. When did you lose interest? When there were nobody real left.
When they
it's all fictitious players, and then you turn it off and you start it all over again.
Ah, I see. Did you do that?
I did. I did a lot. Or I would play it for 58 years and just go, I am the king and no one can stop me.
I never cared, but I was a fan of the game. I was a fan of the game, not a fan of the players.
And that's the thing. Over time, we're the last generation that's a real fan of the game because the game's changed so much. Now you cannot officiate it. It's not physically possible. We rail on officials. You have an impossible job. Yeah, you're the one that I can get mad at because you blow a call on an awful Filipowski loses the ball, bounces it off the shot clock. Kevin Keats loses his mind. You tee him up. Well, it's real easy for me to sit here and go, well, you screwed that up. And then you compounded it by teeing him up. It's impossible to officiate this game because you did that. You made this game unwatchable. The NBA game is unwatchable at times. Nobody plays defense. I don't want to watch scores that are 140 to 136. I hear these things all the time. But I'm watching college basketball do the exact same thing with way lesser talent. And now it's getting harder and harder for me outside of the tournament to go, why do I want to watch this? NC State will keep me around for a half until they're down by 20 to Purdue because that's always how this goes. We get the team here, VCU, George Mason. Go down the line. Go look at the scores of what these games turn into. And then what happens? Sport dies. And we're done again until next March, and you pray to all that's good and holy that you get 3 blue bloods and 1 spunky little upstart because that's the only way your sport survives. How do you fix it? Curtis Davis asked a phenomenal question. How do we get the next Coach K if we don't give these no-names a chance? We never will. That's the point. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to say. Because Coach K, who his first 8 years at Duke was good but not great, he would never survive. Because now you got boosters and you got NIL and you got guys transferring out. We're never going to build that guy. That's the problem. There's never going to be another K. There's never going to be another Dean Smith. It's going to be faceless, nameless Villanova coach who 2 sports fans, lifelong college basketball fans that do this for a living, I had to think about what his name was. And I'm still not positive I'm right. I'm going to have to look it up in the break.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
The warmth continues into the afternoon, should push it up into the middle part of the 80s, and we're going to highlight the chance for strong to potentially severe storms as we head into tonight. Now we're under a slight risk for severe weather. So partial sun, let's go 84 and breezy today. Tonight, that threat for showers and thunderstorms goes up, probably just after sunset. Some of those storms potentially severe. And thunder showers will taper off to just showers on Wednesday. Partly sunny otherwise, breezy and 60. Thursday, much cooler, mostly sunny highs in the upper 40s. For the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Summit Racing Equipment.
Summit Racing has the parts you need to keep your truck rolling right. From custom grills to tonneau covers and everything in between. Shop SummitRacing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends April 14th, 2024.
What are you doing?
I'm training for the new Ultimate Dash Scratch-Offs. I could get a chance to dash through a warehouse full of prizes.
That explains the shopping cart.
Plus, I could win up to $2 million in cash.
And that explains the tuxedo.
I'm
Chafing? Feel the rush with new Ultimate Dash scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.78. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The roof is the most important part of the home, and this month ESPN Asheville and Balkan Roofing are giving one away free of charge. Through April, go to ESPNAVL.com and click on the Balkan Roofing's Roofing for a Reason. Follow the link to nominate a homeowner in need of a new roof and why they should be our winner. At the end of the month, one iHeart Asheville winner will be selected. Make your nominations again at ESPNAVL.com. Roofing for a Reason with Balkan Roofing.
In this week's Marketers Report, Dana Nussbaum, Executive Vice President, Worldwide Marketing at Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on regional audio marketing.
Although we're marketing at a very broad scale, it does include specific local markets, and that's the beauty of iHeart's network.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Disasters at home from floods, fires, or storm is a homeowner's worst nightmare. It pays to have a professional on your side, and that's exactly what you get with First Restoration Services. They've built their business off trust, integrity, speed, and quality. Learn more online at FRS247.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch. We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
Back in the Sportsocracy, this is ESPN Asheville. And in the YouTube comments here, Kelvin Joyner came up with a great idea. He says, I can save college basketball. Play the tournament until you get to the final 2. And then you have the football teams come out and play for the national championship. That's how you boost the ratings for the title game.
Purdue UConn is not the banger you think it would be.
No, I mean, if we could have stuck with, like Alabama, Clemson, or, some facsimile thereof, then, okay,
We have our first super chat of the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah!
It's from Curtis Davis. He said, the Ohio State University. When I was listing off.
What?
It was during my nice rant. I listed off a bunch of colleges, and he said, the Ohio State University.
Indeed. Well, you can't leave that out. I mean, if Ohio State was in every sport, every final, then, yeah, we would have somebody to hate. We would have somebody that we could pull against.
Well, and here's a...
It's because of the thing, by the way. That's why we hate you, because you keep saying that, and we just want to stab you in the face.
I'm going to call myself the Jeremy Greene from now on.
Oh, please.
Can I change my Twitter handle to that?
I think you could be more insufferable, but please.
Oh, I can
do that.
I can be way more insufferable. Gambit fan had a good point. He said, here's how right Jeremy is. In hockey, the Vegas Golden Knights, or the Vegas injury reserves, as we call those, cap circumventers, get mad coverage by the NHL. Spunky upstart Minnesota Wild doesn't. Of course they don't. That Vegas team is super popular. They sell a ton of merchandise. Mm-hmm. Minnesota doesn't.
No. Of course they don't.
This is the exact same problem that baseball's run into, because you got the Oakland A's that have nowhere to play, and nobody wants to outlay the money to bring them in.
That's an interesting thought. We'll take a break. We got Jeremy's Green on Green coming up after the break, and then after the top of the hour, we'll get into that little discussion of just where the decline is coming.
And some football bangers like the one Tyson Carter just asked us in the YouTube chat, which we'll talk about later in the show.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
Nope, we missed that one.
Yep, not that one.
Here we go. Now we're going to break. Now. Nope, now. There we go.
The good folks at Wendy's have a revolutionary new product for you. Introducing the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. It's like a time machine that takes you all the way back to now, the year 2024. It's the classic, creamy, orangey flavor you remember. Dare I say, it's new-timey. It's the flavor you grew up with, just all grown up. Head over to your local Wendy's establishment and get yours while supplies last. The new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. Here for the now, for now.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day. But when we're driving, cooking, and working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
First News on 570 with Mark Starling.
We made it to another season, Tank. I've not checked on the water quality recently. We're getting ready to get into paddleboard season.
I would. You know what it is.
The E. coli estimator. It literally looks like everybody flushed their toilet at the same time.
Yeah, no thank you. I don't want to go out for a wonderful afternoon in the mountains and come back smelling like Andy Dufresne just crawled through the sewers of Shawshank Prison.
Weekday mornings at 6 on News Radio 570 WWNC.
Imagine a world where every individual has the chance to reach their full potential. For over 60 years, ARC of Buncombe County has made that vision a reality for children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. But right now, ARC urgently needs heroes, compassionate people like you who can step forward and make a difference. Every donation is a lifeline. Visit arcofbuncombecounty.org to donate now. That's arcofbuncombecounty.org. Be an ARC hero.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. Need to whip up a dessert, entree, side dish? No problem. The experts from the Ingalls Table take you through it step by step with expert tips and advice along the way. Find the Ingalls Table at ingalls-markets.com or swing by the store and pick up your free copy of the Ingalls Table magazine. And let's get cooking. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
We're in the lull between the Final Fours, but that doesn't mean the wagering has to stop. We're smack dab in the middle of what I call the elimination triangle in the NBA, and it's a great time to make money wagering the sport if you know how, and I'm going to explain it to you. I'm Jeremy Greene of thesportsocracy.com, and this is Greene on Greene, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. With the addition of the play-in tournament, more teams get into the playoffs than ever. A few teams like the Rockets are battling for their lives, and a few other teams like the Sixers are battling to stay out of that tournament. Now, how does that affect day-to-day? Tonight, the Rockets take on the Timberwolves. They're a 7.5-point dog. Minnesota's locked into a top 3 seed. Houston is battling for their playoff lives. That means you're going to get full effort from Houston, and I love laying on those teams when they're catching points. So I'm taking the Rockets plus 7.5. They may not win, but this game will be competitive. And I'll take a full-strength Sixers team plus the 5.5 against a Thunder team that's already locked into their spot. I call this Who Needs It More. For a limited time, new customers who sign up with my promo code JGBets and bet $5 will receive $250 instantly in bonus bets. Whether you prefer playing player props, same game parlays, or you just want to play that gut feeling in the money line, you can do it all with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using code JGBets and bet $5 to get $250 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code JGBets. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only, new customers only, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit, wagering, and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
The warmth continues into the afternoon, should push it up into the middle part of the 80s, and we're going to highlight the chance for strong to potentially severe storms as we head into tonight. Now we're under a slight risk for severe weather. So partial sun, let's go 84 and breezy today. Tonight, that threat for showers and thunderstorms goes up, probably just after sunset. Some of those storms potentially severe. And thunder showers will taper off to just showers on Wednesday. Partly sunny otherwise, breezy and 60. Thursday, much cooler, mostly sunny highs in the upper 40s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Summit Racing Equipment.
Summit Racing has the parts you need to keep your truck rolling right, from custom grills to tonneau covers and everything in between. Shop summitracing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends April 14th, 2024.
This spring, check carpets off your spring cleaning list with Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Mention ESPN Asheville, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $129. Book online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can of kick-ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
In the 90s, New York detective Louis Scarcella locked up the worst criminals.
Putting bad guys away. There's no feeling like it.
Then jailhouse lawyers took aim, led by Derek Hamilton.
Scarcella took me to the precinct and lied.
20 men eventually walked free. Now, in the Burden podcast, after a decade of silence, Louis Scarcella finally tells his story, and so does Derek Hamilton. Listen to The Burden on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man.
I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We are seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. Subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat. Get your thoughts in on the discussion. We're talking about the business of sports and how it just is right in your face that everything else pales in comparison to the NFL. That's why this has become an NFL show. People say this all the time to me of, Tank, you watch baseball. Tank, you watch basketball. Why don't y'all ever talk about it?
Because you don't care.
Well, not only is it because I can't get Jeremy to talk about it, but it's also because as soon as we start talking about it, we start having the questions of, why are you talking about this?
Well, I can literally watch. So that's one of the beauties of being as integrated into social media as we are. I can watch when you literally start to stop listening. When you start tuning out, I know why.
Mm-hmm.
And it took us about, a year to figure out, man, why do we keep getting these big divots? This is when we started this show as a morning show that was YouTube only. And it was every time we talked about the NBA, every time we talked about Major League Baseball, crater. The way the schedule works, we can get by with the majors in golf for about a segment. We can get by with high-end college basketball for the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We can get by with the NBA in the deepest part of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Major League Baseball has nothing of the calendar at this point.
No.
Nothing, because nobody knows who any of your players are. I've actually thought about doing man-on-the-street interviews. I would love to line this up with the tourists. Go to a tourist game and ask them the highest paid players in Major League Baseball. Hey, who is that guy? And just watch people go, wasn't he on CSI for like a year? No, he was not.
No, sir. You're obviously going to get, you'll find baseball fans that know the players. Not all of them, but they know the stars. It gets harder and harder to find any other sports fan that knows anything about it because it's not grabbing eyeballs. We've talked about the problems with these sports for years, right? Baseball, way too many games. NBA, way too many games and your players don't care. That's the thing that killed the NBA for me.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the no defense. That didn't help by any stretch. But it was the fact that your players started not showing up for games. Load management. That killed the NBA for me. I stopped watching it at that point. It doesn't help that we have the local team that can't get out of the basement of the god-awful Eastern Conference. We've now reached, I think it's 8 years, since we even sniffed the playoffs for the Charlotte Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
Your number one player can't stay healthy at all. 56 games in the last 2 years for your star player.
I think the funniest part of these discussions when we get into them is people that go, well, the Sweet 16 numbers were up. Yeah, against the god-awful COVID numbers. Stop being lied to by people. Compare right now to 10 years ago and look at how different that number is. The only way I can equate it is like the CFO of a company telling you, look, our stock's up 0.3% over the last 6 months. Hey, click that 10Y. Can't. It's broken. Yeah, you know why? Because it was way up here and now it's way down here.
Right.
When you start comparing this to what it was, and I get times are different.
Yeah,
I understand that. But it's funny. College football and the NFL, they don't have that problem.
Yeah, you can't really and that's kind of the point of this whole discussion, or the interesting part of this whole discussion. We're not solving problems. Obviously, that's way above our pay grade. We're just I'm trying to just make sense of this whole thing and figure out where does it go? Because we've had these conversations, Jeremy, you and I, over and over again, and you keep throwing out these sports are dead. Well, they're not dead. They're just not making the money that they once were, right? We're no longer,
and if you weren't spending
the
money.
Yeah. We're no longer at a point as a society where we have that many people that care. There's way too many more options for you to pay attention to other things than sports. And I'm talking about like in the heyday of baseball, the 3 channels on television, right way back in the day when you were pulling, 20 million people watching the World Series. That's never happening again. What's the respectable number? What is the point where baseball can look at itself and go, you know what, we're status quo? Because they don't spend money like they're in that era. They don't spend money like this sport is dying.
That's the problem.
Right.
That's the reason I say you're dying. Right. It's all P&L.
Right. We're spending money like the Dodgers. The Dodgers are spending money they ain't even made yet. Mm-hmm. They're deferring salaries for Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani, their 3 MVP lineup, to 10 years from now so that they can load up and try to win a title. Is that all because the sport's dying and you want to win while you can?
Look, I will go a step further with Major League Baseball. You can't fix it. You can't. Baseball is a typewriter. Yeah, it was great when we didn't have computers. Then the computer showed up, and, that could be the best typewriter ever. It's still not as good as this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a boring, slow sport in an era where people have really light attention spans. There's nothing you can do about that. You can carve out the niche.
Mm-hmm.
You can carve out the niche. But here's the problem. You're spending the money on the Shoheis, on the judges, on these high-end guys, because there's not many of them in your sport.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing you could kind of cling on to that's not just an absolute albatross of money. Bryce Harper, guys like that.
Yep.
They're not albatrosses of money. You still lose money on them, don't get me wrong. But then you get the average guy. I am 100% convinced that I could go into the city of Atlanta, as fat as I am, with my mullet, just looking like somebody that was at one time athletic. I'm convinced I could go into any sports bar in Atlanta and tell people I was a relief pitcher for the Braves, and half that room would buy it. Half that room would fall for it.
Yeah, you could.
Because
I'm
nobody
sure
knows
they
who
would.
the players are.
I'm sure
There's
they would.
nothing you can do to fix baseball. It's a niche sport. The problem is that you're spending money like it's not, and eventually that's going to come to a head. So I will go one step further. With Major League Baseball, and I've said this for a year, I will say it for the next 9. You will be contracting teams before it's all said and done because you can't keep operating at a loss like this. Wealthy people will not keep doing this. And when you have, God rest his soul, guys like Peter Angelos that loved baseball and they were a baseball owner, here's the thing. It ain't going to be easy to sell some of these teams. The Orioles already had a new owner. That was already in place, and they're out buying beers for people at bars. That's a way you can do it. You need 20 more of those. And I don't think they're lining up to sign up for your sport because I would rather have 10% of the Baltimore Ravens than 90% of the Baltimore Orioles. And that's a problem. That's why when NFL teams go up for sale, it's 10, 15, 20 bidders deep. When baseball teams go up for sale, it's 3. Because I'm paying premium for something that doesn't make sense.
The Baltimore Orioles just switched hands. The sale price on that deal was $1.7 billion. Steve Cohen, 2020, completed the deal for the New York Mets. $2.5 billion.
That's one of the 5 biggest entities in your sport.
Yes. $2.5 billion. That's only a couple of teams. Only a couple of teams and a couple of markets will ever touch that kind of a number. The Kansas City Royals sold in 2020 as well for $1 billion. That's the lowest market team, correct? Other than Tampa?
No, the A's would be lower. Kansas City gets a little bit of spillover for the Chiefs.
Cincinnati,
I would say, is probably slightly above them. I would have the Rays, probably the A's. There's another one that I'm forgetting. Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Pittsburgh Pirates. Yes.
And everybody will say, but the history. The history
4
doesn't matter.
franchises, yes.
90% of society does not remember the Pittsburgh Pirates being good. The metric I was giving you earlier on Final Four ratings, it's 18-49. If you're telling me about something that happened in 1974, none of the people that we're looking at here were alive. So I can read it in a history book, but I have no emotional connection to it. None. And that's where I'm at with college basketball, is that you're losing that. The thing that bothers me as a lifelong college basketball fan is that the women are figuring it out and the men can't figure it out. The women have Kim Mulkey and Dawn Staley and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. That's more than I could name of the men. They're doing a good job of propping up their stars. You're not. And you know why? There's a real simple reason for that.
Why?
Because it's hard for me to invest the money in a guy that I can't trust to be here for more than 15 seconds. Did you see the little graphic of where all the Elite 8 starting lineups came from? Some of them, I had to look at which team it was because none of them started. None of them are starting for where they started.
Yep.
And that is why I am here screaming from the rooftops for the 3rd year in a row. If you don't figure out how to do contracts in college basketball, it's not that hard. You got beat by the Supreme Court and you rolled into a little ball and died. If you don't figure this out, this sport will be irrelevant in 5 years.
The only way that you can build stars is by having continuity. Right? It's part of the reason.
I don't 100% agree with that.
Why not?
Jeremy Lin. There was no continuity there. He'd been there for 15 seconds.
And he was a star for 15 seconds.
That lasted in New York and actually sold for substantially longer than that. Problem is that he was gone. And he wasn't as good anymore, so it just dwindled off over time. The Lynn Sanity thing, it was only a national story for a month. It was a New York story for markedly longer than that.
Okay.
And then he wasn't any good.
Congratulations. I was going to say, congratulations. You signed him to $60 million contract and immediately regretted it.
Well, that's why I was blinking at what you said with consistency. No, you build stars by being stars. Star will be a star. I don't give a damn what's on the front of the jersey. Caitlin Clark is playing at a place that has virtually no history as a women's basketball power. She wound up there, and now you are one. And guess what? You will be for 10 years.
Sure.
Because there are thousands of girls across this country going, oh, I want to go play there. Oh, she's got an attitude shooting 40-foot logo three-pointers. Oh, I want to go there. And you'll be fine forever. The problem is you got to do it. You got to invest the time. You got to invest the money. You got to invest the energy. Instead, here's what we get. Jay Wright leaves, and I get loyal, long-time assistant that takes over.
Yeah, precisely.
Whose name you don't even know. Have you figured it out yet?
No, I haven't even looked it up because I don't care. Because he's not a star.
Neptune, Kyle Neptune.
There you go.
I was sitting here going, Perry Saturn, Kyle Jupiter. I know his name's a planet, but
Saturn.
I was going full moppy. Perry Saturn.
No, I don't care because he's not a star. But to build that star, he has to be there for a while. He has to win. He has to prove himself.
DJ Burns built himself into a star in 2 weeks. He's been there for 2 years. Nobody cared for 2 years. You know why? Because he wasn't a star. Because he averaged 13 points a game. That big smile and the gap between his teeth, that's been there since he was at Winthrop. I've seen it with my own two eyes. Nobody cared.
Of course.
But then you went through the tournament. Now you're a star.
Yeah, because you did something that nobody had ever seen before. Because you.
Oh, I don't know that I agree with that. We've seen a lot of guys do what DJ Burns did.
Really?
Be the best player in an Elite Eight at a school that didn't matter. Kevin Pittsnoggle is on line one. I witnessed it up close and personal.
Okay. And?
You said it's never been done before. It's 100% been done. I think it's actually done every single year. But you said consistency. Yeah. DJ Burns has been here for 2 years. He's a star for what happened over the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
That doesn't make a great molehill about consistency. If you're a star, you're a star. But you've got to build up stars. The NCAA does a horrifically bad job of that outside of college football and women's college basketball. Why that is, I don't know. I do not know what is different between the men's game and the women's game. I don't know. But there are high-level players in the college men's game that get no love whatsoever.
Like who?
Off the top of my head?
Yeah.
The entire backcourt of Duke. Those are really good players that nobody knew squat about.
No.
McCain, the average college basketball fan, didn't know that name until...
It's because he didn't score 40 points a night.
And I guess that's my point. DJ Burns didn't score 40 points a night either. He had a personality that you let shine through in the most when the spotlight was on.
Yeah,
the problem is the spotlight's never on. It's on for 3 weeks a year. The average fan does not know that DJ Burns didn't do this all year long.
Right. But my question is, how is that the sport's fault? What is the sport supposed to do to make these guys have eyeballs on them? Because until DJ Burns started winning games, you're right, nobody cared who he was.
If he had done this in February, nobody would care.
No.
If he had done this in some tremendous run in the first 3 weeks of the ACC season, nobody would have cared. Now, what do you do about that? Let's see, how do I say this as nicely as I can? That's not my damn job. That's your job. You can do it with the women. Why can you not do it with men? You've grown that sport. The last estimation I saw from Forbes, you've grown that sport 400% in 5 years.
And
I would argue you've lost 400% on the men's side.
And again, the only difference to me is, again, consistency. Because these girls have been stars for a couple of years, right? Angel Reese grabbed stardom last year, as did Caitlin Clark.
Juju Watkins has been at USC for 15 seconds.
I don't even know who that is.
She played last night.
I've never even
probably
heard of that
honestly,
person.
probably the best of the four.
I've
in terms of
heard
player,
of
probably the best of the four.
Until this tournament started. And they went, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, who was the other one? Paige Beckers. And then Juju Watkins, never heard of her. She plays out on the West Coast. Don't watch women's college basketball to begin with. So the freshman from USC, I don't know who that is. She's as big of a star to me as Mike O'Connell from NC State. I've just, my personal view, I've never heard of that person. But I have heard of Caitlin Clark because she's scoring 40 a night. I have heard of Angel Reese because she's the most recognizable face from her showdowns last year in the tournament with the big star, right? Kim Mulkey, Gino Auriemma, all of these coaches, Dawn Staley, been around for a long time. Men's college basketball is going through a transition where we're losing all of the household names. You have more player mobility in the men's game than you do in the women's game.
Well, I mean, there's one solution to this
question. Your stars
question.
have nowhere to go.
Well, I mean, there's one solution to what you've said here, and it's really not that hard to figure out.
You know, what is that?
Stop promoting the players. You said, all right, so what you just said there, you got 4 special players. All right, all 4 of the girls that you just said are, in terms of talent, and, I mean, I coached women's basketball, so I don't claim to be a savant. I get to about Shamika Holtzclaw, and that's anything before that. So, like Cheryl Swoops, I was too young for.
Yep.
I can get to about that point. This is probably 4 of the 25 best women's players we've ever had. Talent, sheer talent.
Sure.
Where you got to really quickly was Kim Mulkey, Gino Auriemma, Dawn Staley. You don't have that in the men's game. You don't.
Exactly.
You don't have that. You know why you don't have that? Because you made the job insanely hard. There are still coaches all over the world that would kill to be the head coach at Kansas or Kentucky or even going down a peg to Loyola or Siena.
Mm-hmm.
You got to incentivize this at some point. But I'm going to use a line that you love using a lot when that camera ain't on. I can't care more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I'm looking at the NCAA. We can't care more than you do, and we never will. You treat this sport like it exists for 3 weeks out of the year. That's why you see a billion Capital One ads, because you have backloaded this deal. If you watch college basketball throughout the year, guess what you'll never see? Capital One ads. You'll never see it on a random noon game on ESPN.
Right.
So you put everything into this tournament. Problem is this sport can't survive on 3 weeks out of the year.
Yep.
You can bet it sideways. How much money did the NCAA get off that? 0. That's the only thing keeping you alive. Because you have mismanaged this and bungled this basically my entire adult life. You remember that 05 Carolina team with Raymond Felton and Sean May and Rashad McCants? When was the last time you felt an attachment to a group of players as much as you did that one?
Oh,
For me, it is that year.
Yeah, no, it's been a couple of times since then. 2017 Tar Heels team, Justin Jackson, those guys.
The average basketball fan doesn't have that.
But it's always the guys who stick around. Those are the ones that you can identify with. You can identify with a team. You can identify with growth year over year. If you have new players coming in each and every year, and I don't know who any of these guys are, of course it's hard to build relationships. Of course it's hard to care. Of course it's hard to get on board with, oh, man, we're going to be really good. Where's Carolina going to be next year? Actually, you know what? We got to take a break. We're running late here. We got to take a break here. But, I mean, think about it for a moment. R.J. Davis, there's a new rumor coming out that Armando Bacot is trying to convince R.J. Davis that he needs to return for another year to Carolina. He's got one more year left. If he doesn't, and Armando leaves, and what's left? You're building it all over again with brand new names. That kind of churn kills any relationship, or I'm not say any, but many of the relationships that you can build as a fan. We'll discuss it up next here on ESPN Asheville.
What are you doing?
I'm training for the new Ultimate Dash Scratch-Offs. I could get a chance to dash through a warehouse full of prizes.
That explains the shopping cart.
Plus, I could win up to $2 million in cash.
And that explains the tuxedo.
I'm chafing.
Feel the rush with new Ultimate Dash Scratch-Offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.78. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Jessica, this is the happiest day of my life. Right up there with the day I bought my RV and insured it with Progressive. Man, I love that thing. There are a million fish in the sea, which I'm reminded of every time I bring my RV to the lake, but I vow to love and cherish you just as much as I cherish campsites with full electric and water hookups. I'm so sorry.
Protect your beloved with an RV policy from Progressive. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Last season, on the Choosing Sides F1 podcast, we established unequivocally that F1 is the pinnacle of motorsports.
We did, but honestly, I was left with more questions than answers, Tony.
I'm Tony Karen Brown, a tech, culture, and F1 commentator.
And I'm Michael Costa, comedian from The Daily Show.
Join us for Season 2 of Choosing Sides F1 and get all of the answers.
All of them?
All of them.
Listen to Choosing Sides F1 on the iHeartRadio app
or wherever you get your podcasts.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
It is ESPN Asheville, and this is the Sportsocracy. Asking a Carolina fan about when was the last time you were attached to a team is not the best of examples. I know exactly what you were doing, and it makes perfect sense for many
Duke's a better example.
Yeah, it makes much more sense for many other programs than Carolina, because Carolina is one of the few that has been able to rise above, right? Remember, we had all of this discussion when Coach K and Roy Williams were on the fence about making their decisions, and it was the NILs popping up. This is a brand new thing, and you had Roy and K both saying, well, we don't have to play that game. Well, to an extent, they were right. You don't have to play that game until you do. Mm-hmm. Now you fully do, right? Everybody's playing the game now, so everybody's got to be in it to win it, and that's why you have no more Coach K, you have no more Roy Williams, and on and on and on.
Well, I mean, you're going to have nobody left. You're literally going to – you will not have a coach that has a real face left, and you're not that far away from it. Tom Izzo is almost 70 years old. Mm-hmm. He may be 70 years old. Bill Self is almost 70 years old.
Is he really?
Yeah. I saw how old he was the other day and went, I did not know that. He's 60. He's 62.
Okay. He's still relatively young compared to those other guys that we were talking about who are
He's 60.
Felt like they were 180.
Oh, no, I lied. I did the math wrong. He's actually 61.
Okay, 61
so he's
years old.
Who did I see their age? Izzo will be 70 in January.
Mm-hmm. Bill Self will be the godfather.
I don't know that I agree with you. I'm not breaking a story here because we've talked about this for years.
You think he's getting out?
I've thought he was getting out for 3 solid years. If the San Antonio Spurs job comes open, you mark my words, Bill Self will take it.
Okay.
If Popovich walks away at any point, of which Victor Wembanyama gave him a real incentive to stick around for a while and be as crazy as ever, but if that job opens up, he would take it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, this just touches close to home to me because I have this conversation a lot with my dad. Like, my dad is diehard Tar Heel fan. When the Tar Heels are on, the television is on. And it's for every sport, at least the major ones. He's not watching, like, Tar Heel field hockey or anything. But, like, baseball. I got to his house yesterday after the show was over. He was watching the replay of the Carolina Wake Forest baseball game from the day before.
That's commitment.
He's totally committed to Tar Heel sport.
Big ups for Papa Tank.
Yeah, and so we have this discussion of who are these guys? He asked me the other day, why doesn't so-and-so play? And I had to quiz him about what team he's talking about. And he said, the Tar Heels, dum-dum. I said, what do you mean? He's the guy that transferred from whatever. And he was talking about James Okonkwo. Have you ever heard that name before?
No.
No, he's on the Tar Heel team, transferred in from West Virginia, by the way.
I should tell you how much of a banger we got here.
Exactly. But it's guys like that. Like, they don't.
Are we talking about
around.
Baseball or basketball?
We're talking about basketball.
Okay. All right. So I'm not going to say the name once it bounced around in my head. It sounded vaguely familiar. Mm-hmm. I thought you were asking me about why a player on the Tar Heel baseball team wasn't playing. No. And I was going to ask you to pee in a cup. Like, I need you to.
No, we're talking about the basketball team. There was just a day and age, right, where you knew them all.
Yes.
They came in as freshmen. We had talked about them. You know, you get the little ACC handbook, which, by the way, I don't know why that's never come back. Just a shot out to the ether. If we could bring that back. I love the ACC handbook.
Don't even know what it is.
Stop. But you would read about all these high school guys, and you would have 4 years to learn them and watch them grow into the players. Now you don't get that. Now you get guys that are transferring in like Cormac Ryan, who I don't have any connection to him. And it's only when he does something unbelievably awesome, like the post-game press conference. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, Cormac Ryan's post-game press conference after the loss to Alabama. Absolutely beautiful. They were asking R.J. Davis, obviously, reporter has to ask the question, so what happened, R.J.? How did you go 0 for 9? And he was trying to find the words, and he couldn't do it. And Cormac jumped in and said, I'm going to get ahead of this before we go any further right now. We would not be here without R.J. Davis or Armando Bacot. So please don't start saying that we lost tonight because of something they did or did not do. We wouldn't even be here with that. I can love that. But that guy doesn't become a star until the tournament of his transfer year.
I'll ask a question. And this kind of I think this goes to the consistency thing you were talking about. Consistency does not make a star. It can. Mm-hmm. Stars make stars. Do you take the time to connect your phone to Bluetooth in a rental car? You've been driving a rental car for a week, 2 weeks, while yours was getting repaired.
Yes.
Did you connect your phone to that?
Yes.
I don't. I never have.
Really?
Because I'm not going to take the time to do that with something I'm giving back in a handful of days.
Okay.
And I'm OCD, and I'd have to take it off because I don't want somebody to accidentally see the tape. Because in my head, I would drive next to this car, and I would get a text message, and then the next thing I know,
it's connected again.
Yeah, bad things have happened.
I don't think it works that way.
I don't trust the birds. Okay, the birds are out to get me. I'm out here spitting truth bombs, and the birds will burn me if given the opportunity.
Right.
Anyway,
you don't get to build. My point is, you don't get to build the relationships with the guys anymore. Like the days of the Armando Bacots and the even the R.J. Davises or the Justin Jacksons or whatever. It's because, to me, the women stars don't leave early. They stick around forever because there's nowhere for them to go. I'm not jumping to the WNBA, as we said. We still
take a pay cut.
Right. We still can't figure out why Caitlin Clark's going to the WNBA this year, because she'll make way more money in college basketball than she will go into the WNBA. Nobody leaves early for that opportunity. If I score 40 points a night in college basketball, okay, I'll become a star within 1 year. And then what? I'm gone. I'm out of here. I'm not hanging around.
Well, and you could get to a point where the money gets significant enough Kevin, the PRF, in our YouTube comments had a masterful idea that I've never heard anybody say before, that your NBA contract should be lengthwise, should be tied to your high school graduation year.
Okay.
And I agree with him wholeheartedly. I think it's a brilliant idea. There's only one problem. You got to get the NBA and college basketball on the same page, and they haven't been forever, and it's killing them both.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about a fix, and how do you fix this? It's real simple. I sit the commissioner of the NCAA and Adam Silver down in a room. I give them a list of problems and go, you're not coming out of this room until you fix it. Because if you don't, the NBA is getting ready to go into a draft where there are absolutely zero, not one, not a single one player in that class that the average fan even knows who they are. You will have 6 international players in the lottery. You think that's good for the NBA? You think that's positive?
No.
You think jersey sales are going to be through the roof for a guy you've never heard of? Yeah, you don't get a Victor Wembanyama every year. Okay, and he was a novelty, 7'5", and runs like he's 6'5", and is highly skilled. That's a once-in-a-generation kind of guy. You're not going to get that every year. The question is, how do you sustain all of these things with all of the issues you have? And the only way is that you come together and you row your boats in the same direction. Because if you don't, this is how it ends up. This is exactly what we talk about with GMs and coaches that are not equally yoked drafting quarterbacks. You're trying to save your job, which is what Adam Silver is trying to do. And he's doing it with stupid in-season tournaments that nobody cares about outside of NBA fans. And by the way, I this is a 20-second aside that I have to say. If I get one more lifelong NBA fan that tells me, the in-season tournament was great, I get that you liked it. I'm going to tell you a dirty little secret. They didn't care if you liked it. They knew you were going to like it. You weren't the goal. I was the goal. You were the goal. And guess what? We didn't watch it. Patrick Holt in the YouTube comments said, Kevin Keats is definitely a face. This state team is magical. They're going to win it all. To you. To you. Kevin Keats, Kevin McAllister, it wouldn't matter. Was the coach of NC State. You got to this point, you're going to love that guy forever. Am I? Average college basketball fan, am I going to love Kevin Keats? Is he a face to me? Do I think he's any smarter today than I did 2 weeks ago? The answer is no.
No.
No, I don't. This is the same guy that I was making jokes that he was going to be coaching Quinnipiac in a month. None of that changed. I'm still looking at this guy going, you're running 2-man basketball. Nobody on this team is getting better because of you. So me, the X's and O guy, does not love Kevin Keats. You, the average Carolina guy, looks at Kevin Keats and goes, hey, keep him around for a while because we really like beating him.
Yeah, please do.
That's not a face. That's not a coach that 10 years from now we're going to look at and go, that's a great basketball coach. That's a guy that I want my kids to go play for. There's no top 50 recruit that's looking at Kevin Keats going, yeah, let's do that. No, they're looking for Tom Izzo. They're looking for Bill Self. They're looking for John Calipari with all of his tournament issues. But where do you turn when all those guys go away? And you're pushing them out the door. Mm-hmm. Jay Wright looks younger than me. I've watched him this entire tournament just going, how is that guy not coaching a team somewhere? He looks 40 years old, and he's a great coach. You pushed him out. But that's how you fix the problem. Mm-hmm. You got to get everybody stemming in the right direction. And that goes to what you asked me at the beginning of this. What is successful? It's in a vacuum. You're not going to get 130 million people to watch your championship game the way they watch the Super Bowl. That's reserved for the NFL and the NFL alone. None of the rest of you are going to get there ever. If you multiplied yourselves by each other, you're probably still not going to get there. Major League Baseball needs to turn a profit. College basketball needs to be relevant for more than 15 minutes every single year. It's in a vacuum. You can be a niche sport. Hockey's done it forever. And you know what? We've never looked at hockey and said, man, that sport's dying. It's been the same exact thing in this country since 1994.
Well, I mean, there was the strike.
And it didn't really hurt them. It didn't really hurt. Ratings-wise, really? It dipped a little bit, and then it bounced back in 2 years.
When they had to move their games to the outdoor network, that didn't hurt?
Well, you're on NBC Sports right now.
Oh, I get it. I mean, there's been a comeback. There's been a resurgence.
don't know that I would call it a resurgence so much as just getting back to where you were.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was bad, and that was bad leadership, and they corrected it. They started doing outdoor games. They started doing a lot of things that would pander to the lay fan. That's what college basketball has to do. That's what you have to do. You have to figure out a way to keep your best minds around. There's no company on the planet. I don't care if it's ESPN. I don't care if it's iHeartRadio. I don't care if it's the NCAA. I don't care if it's IBM or Microsoft. If the top 10% of your employees are leaving at an unbelievably high rate, you're going to go in the tank. All of you. It doesn't matter what the business is. It could be your local McDonald's. If the 10 smartest people in the room leave, guess what? Service is about to go in the tank because that's how this works. And this is a problem you've had for a really long time. And this DJ Burns thing, it is awesome. It is fun to watch. I could not care less about NC State if I tried, but I have watched every second of every game they played.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't hurt that I bet on them all. That's a thing. That is a thing we can do now.
Yeah.
You have to know what you are, and you have to be really good at what you do. This is advice I give to my children. I don't care what you want to do in life. If you want to be a nurse, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a mechanic, I don't care. I will support you in whatever it is you want to do. But be the best at what you do. Stop worrying about how much you make and perfect what you do. Go the million-hour rule, the Malcolm Gladwell thing of I'm going to perfect my craft. Then you worry about how much you make. Because if you make a lot of money and you're mediocre, which is what I would say a lot of college basketball players are right now.
Bingo.
Guess what? There's not a whole lot of growth potential there. Perfect the craft, then worry about the money. And that was your Capitalism Minute. Brought to you by Ronald Reagan.
Problem is the money's already there. And some of them, they're not going to have to work. And they're not going to work. And you know what that's going to do? It's going to take their careers. And it's not going to hurt anybody but them. I guess that's been my whole thing about this. Right? The whole NIL push, and you and I have gone round and round about this since we were doing this on Saturdays on WWNC. And my whole point has always been, it's necessary. We have to go down this path. How you handled it was terrible, yes. But you have to go down this path. And really, in the end, if these guys, if some of these guys and some of these gals as well playing women's college basketball and making NIL money, if that means that I'm not going to work as hard as the last generation to get better, to perfect the craft, the product's going to drop off, yes, but they're also washing themselves out of the process. It all takes care of itself in the end, I guess, is my point.
Well, I mean, and I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole here, although I kind of am.
Yeah.
What you and I argued about for years, I never really realized we're actually saying the same thing. We're just coming at it from a very different angle.
Yes.
I never had a problem with college kids getting paid. All right, that was how I was always painted, is that he has a problem with athletes getting paid. No, I don't. I have no problem with that. There has to be some kind of ramification. And where we're at right now is exactly what scared me, is that there is the number one affliction that is sweeping this nation is entitlement. And I knew that to expect guys that have been told how awesome they are since they were 7 years old to not be entitled was a fool's errand. So you get an entitled kid that thinks he's God's gift to the game he plays, and you put no rules on him whatsoever. What was going to happen? I never had a problem with them getting paid. I have a problem with the university paying them, and I always will. I have a problem with the coach paying them. I have no problem with Bob's Bait and Tackle, who's a lifelong Alabama fan, paying the guard to endorse his product and play at Alabama, because that's called capitalism. That's fine. Here's where my problem lies. What is the ramification to the kid that takes the deal from Bob's Bait and Tackle and does one commercial for them and then transfers from Alabama, and he takes all the money and he puts it in his pocket from Bob's Bait and Tackle, and then he moves on to Purdue, and he does the same thing with Billy Bob's Trout Farm in Indiana. There's nothing to preclude it. Okay, this is not hard.
We all learned this when we were 14 years old. We all took civics. We all took Econ 101. If you pay somebody for a service they don't render, guess what? You don't pay them again. So what's happening right now is you have all these athletes that are screwing over all these companies. And I'm going super tear down a fourth wall because I am really embedded with some of these companies that have done this. They're getting screwed over by athletes because there's nothing to preclude them from doing it. And they're 18-year-old kids. So I get a check, and then all of a sudden I got this check for what it is. Oh, well, it just kind of becomes a thing of, well, I don't want to do that anymore. Guess what? That entitlement is playing itself out on the court too. I watch it every single night that I watch college basketball. If I watch the guy that is, and in large part it's guards, sometimes it's wing players, invariably it's the guy that scores a lot, that's looking at it going, hey, you know what, if I could average 25 a night, that Bob's bait and tackle deal, it's going to be a thing of the past. I'm going to be in Dr. Pepper commercials. And I watch it. I know exactly what you're thinking because I was you. I didn't have the financial ramification. I did have the ball in my hand, though. And you know what I loved more than anything on the planet? My first name and my last name. That was my two favorite words in the English language. And that's never changed. What changes is the entitlement. It'll be the death of the sport if you don't do something about it.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
The warmth continues into the afternoon, should push it up into the middle part of the 80s, and we're going to highlight the chance for strong to potentially severe storms as we head into tonight. Now we're under a slight risk for severe weather. So partial sun, let's go 84 and breezy today. Tonight, that threat for showers and thunderstorms goes up, probably just after sunset. Some of those storms potentially severe. And thunder showers will taper off to just showers on Wednesday. Partly sunny otherwise, breezy and 60. Thursday, much cooler, mostly sunny highs in the upper 40s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Apple Tree Superstore.
Apple Tree Superstore is committed to offering you professional service and a great experience. Brand new Hondas, brand new Acuras, and a large selection of local trade-ins all on one lot. Apple Tree Superstore, online at appletreesuperstore.com and located I-26 and Airport Road, Asheville.
Don't let dental anxiety keep you from getting the care that you need. The friendly team at Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry are there to make your dental experience comfortable and stress-free for your whole family. And at Asheville Smiles, you're going to find all the latest and greatest technology, which means they're going to be able to catch issues quicker and diagnose more accurately. Offering comprehensive dental care from teeth cleaning, fillings, crowns, bridges, dentures, implants, cosmetic dental work like veneers, and so much more. Find out more online at AshevilleSmiles.com. World-class dental care with a hometown feel.
In this week's Marketers Report, Angela Zapata, CMO Hyundai Motor America, discusses measuring audio.
The measurement capability within audio, I think, surprised all of us. We have seen a huge return on our investment. Seeing real numbers has helped us continue to invest.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the data, audiences, and influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. Need to whip up a dessert, entree, side dish? No problem. The experts from the Ingalls Table take you through it step by step with expert tips and advice along the way. Find the Ingalls Table at ingalls-markets.com or swing by the store and pick up your free copy of the Ingalls Table magazine. And let's get cooking. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
We are back in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville coming to you live from the Ingalls studio. Time to get weird and I'm gonna go with a sports-related story here. Usually we use that for just a bit outside, but regardless, this was just weird to me anyway. Now, Jeremy, I know that we don't expect there to be a large audience for a Pac-12 network baseball game. But as a broadcaster, I saw this story, and I could not help but just, kind of die a little bit inside when I saw this. So, over the weekend, UCLA is playing Arizona in baseball. It is a very tight game, and it goes to extra innings. They're all knotted up. And then something happened on the broadcast that got a little weird. It was almost as if the mics went out for the broadcasters. However, there was still sound coming through to those watching on the network, whether it be on television or streaming online. You could still hear all of the ambient noise. You could hear the crowd, you could hear the pitches, all of the things. There's nobody was talking. Then it didn't take long to figure out, the guy that was calling the game left. The guy who was calling the game left because it was going to extra innings, and he had to, he had to catch a flight. He had to catch his flight home because he wasn't going to miss his flight and miss Easter with the family. So the final 2 innings of an extra inning game went completely uncalled by anyone. And to me, that's the weirdest thing that can happen, and why there was not a single person that was there who could have said something about it.
First of all, tens and tens of people were really upset about this. You said this was a Pac-12 baseball game?
Yes.
I'm sure their parents were really upset that nobody was there to call the action. It's fine. Just move on.
It's not fine.
It's 100% fine. Stop putting broadcasters in these games. We don't need it.
Yes,
put
if
a
you're
camera.
airing a game, you need to have a broadcaster.
No, you don't.
Yes.
Put a camera on it. We do not need.
Well, Bill, it's a great day out here at the ballpark. You know what? I just had a hot dog. You ever have a hot dog, Bill? It just a bit outside.
I don't need that. Okay, I've never needed that. Didn't need it 40 years ago. Don't need it now.
Aha.
This the half-inning stretch brought to you by Bill's Bait and Tackle. If you need a worm or a lizard or anything that officially, take it down to Bill's Bait and Tackle. 17 East Ventura Boulevard.
I love the guy that has to sell advertising on radio is making fun of the fact that you have to sell advertising for
No.
games.
I'm not making fun of the advertising. The advertising's fine, much like our great sponsors, DraftKings Sportsbook, Eagles Markets, low prices, love the savings. Mm-hmm. They're great. What I hate is that ridiculous voice of, and yes, I do get that it's like half Vin Scully and half every radio person I've ever met in my life.
Well, it's up at the plate. It's Ben Jackson up at the plate, batting 187 of the year. I don't really have much else to say about Ben because Ben sucks. That's why he's batting ninth. But I'm going to talk about him for the next 4.5 minutes, like he's really good. Back to you, Bob.
Awful. Just stop it. Ugh,
the moron.
You're
just a moron.
No, baseball announcers are awful, and you know it. Okay, you've worked with some of them. You know I'm right. Vin Scully had a great way.
First off, I work with only the best, just so you know.
Tank, there are sometimes that you should not say things to me that you make me want to say things sometimes that I'm not allowed to, and I think blood just came out of my ear. Baseball announcers, in large part, are awful. And if you tell me I'm getting the D squad from the Pac-12 network, I'm going to say that old Billy Bob here did us a favor by hopping on a plane. I don't think anybody got dumber because he wasn't there to.
That's the 3-2 pitch here from Jackson. And he swings and misses.
Yeah, thanks. We saw all that. That was great. I'm glad you did that. Another thing that I find to be really stupid is the city of Chicago and their real hatred of one condiment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this or not, but the entire city of Chicago hates ketchup.
Really?
If you put ketchup on a hot dog, you will have no less than 3/4 of the city just coming at you with pickaxes and pitchforks and flaming torches. It is a huge deal.
So they're stupid. Okay, all right, awesome.
Well, I mean, look, a Chicago dog with ketchup is pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to tell you this, but the tomato that is on that dog, if you squish it and put some sugar in it, it becomes ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you didn't know that, but it's the way it is.
Tomatoes get better with ketchup, in case you didn't know.
Correct. That's why they're better on hamburgers.
There you go.
Anyway, Heinz has apparently been told of this, and they are starting a promotion that is sure to upset the Windy City. They are making ketchup dispensing billboards that they are putting outside restaurants that don't serve Heinz ketchup. There are a lot of restaurants in Chicago where you physically can't get ketchup. I've been to Chicago several times.
Mm-hmm.
Never left anything that I really needed back that bad, so not itching to go back. There are certain restaurants that you ask for ketchup, they'll look at you like you shot a puppy in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid. I have French fries. I want ketchup on the potato, you jackass. Bring me some ketchup. I won't put it on your precious hot dog until you turn your back, if that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a tater, and I want some ketchup on it. And if you could bring me some mustard to put in that ketchup, it would be even better because that is fancy sauce, and it's awesome. Mm-hmm. Would you eat ketchup out of a billboard?
No.
So a billboard dispenses ketchup. It's got a little lever. It's basically just a glorified bottle of ketchup on the side of the road.
I mean, if I needed it, I guess I might.
Well, the only thing I will warn you is it's Chicago, so there's a great chance that one of our houseless friends has urinated in it. Set you up on that one, not gonna lie.
Good Lord.
Yeah, in Chicago, I will not eat ketchup off the side of the road because I'll bet you it's been piddled in.
Okay. Anyhow.
That's just a big red toilet. That's all it is.
You got to tell the people what they need to know, Jeremy. And then we got to take a break.
We got to take a break anyway. So I keep running my mouth. We've literally gone over on every break this entire day.
No doubt. We'll be back after the top of the hour here in the Sportsocracy.
Is here. That means Chick Days, planting your garden, and college basketball. Just like in basketball, every team needs its MVP. When it comes to team members who go above and beyond, Tractor Supply has the winning lineup. Our home team at Tractor Supply is excited to support your hometown. We're proud to be part of the excitement of college basketball tournament season, and our home team looks forward to serving your hometown. Because every day is game day at Tractor Supply.
In the 90s, New York detective Louis Scarcella locked up the worst criminals.
Putting bad guys away. There's no feeling like it.
Then jailhouse lawyers took aim, led by Derek Hamilton.
Scarcella took me to the precinct and lied.
20 men eventually walked free. Now, in the Burden podcast, after a decade of silence, Louis Scarcella finally tells his story, and so does Derek Hamilton. Listen to The Burden on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Imagine a world where every individual has the chance to reach their full potential. For over 60 years, ARC of Buncombe County has made that vision a reality for children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. But right now, ARC urgently needs heroes, compassionate people like you who can step forward and make a difference. Every donation is a lifeline. Visit arcofbuncombecounty.org to donate now. That's arcofbuncombecounty.org. Be an ARC hero.
Crooked teeth may embarrass kids whose families can't afford braces. And trying to fix their teeth themselves can make things worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. For children and teens who qualify and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, treatment can be life-changing and help them smile with confidence. Learn more at aaoinfo.org.
It's the moment you dream of.
The moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for. The moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time. The moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
The Sportsocracy.
Take all this, burn it, okay? Gasoline, kerosene, either one. Burn it.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
The warmth continues into the afternoon, should push it up into the middle part of the 80s, and we're going to highlight the chance for strong to potentially severe storms as we head into tonight. Now we're under a slight risk for severe weather. So partial sun, let's go 84 and breezy today. Tonight, that threat for showers and thunderstorms goes up, probably just after sunset. Some of those storms potentially severe. And thunder showers will taper off to just showers on Wednesday. Partly sunny otherwise, breezy and 60. Thursday, much cooler, mostly sunny highs in the upper 40s. For the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Apple Tree Superstore.
Apple Tree Superstore is committed to offering you professional service and a great experience. Brand new Hondas, brand new Acuras, and a large selection of local trade-ins all on one lot. Apple Tree Superstore, online at appletreesuperstore.com and located I-26 and Airport Road, Asheville.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you are tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkupp. Dr. Scheinkupp is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about some exciting options. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Sometimes, like, Jeremy just says things that break my brain.
It always blows my mind what it is that I say that breaks your brain.
No, it's just, so we were
Tell
talking,
the people.
We were talking about pickles during the break because he's over here eating pickles.
Clausen pickles, it's the greatest pickle on the planet.
Yes.
They're never hot. They are kept cold, and they stay crisp, and they are wonderful.
This is all the things he says every time he gets the Clausen pickle jar out of the refrigerator. He goes, aren't these the best pickles ever? And I go, for the 14th time we've had this discussion, I prefer Vlasic to the Clausen.
Well, here's the thing, Tank. All right, I'm in the throes of the Alzheimer's, okay, and I don't remember stuff well. So how about you shut up and just answer the question?
So we're talking about it, and of course we go down the rabbit hole of pickles. And I said, you need to go over to the farmer's market, the Western North Carolina Farmer's Market on Brevard Road, and there's a place in there called DJ's Pickles, and it's all homegrown, home-canned stuff. It's like local family. If you live in the Fairview area, you have passed the truck 10 million times, because I think I did while I lived out there for a year. Anyway, the best pickles on the planet, and they've got every kind of flavor, and spicy ones and sweet and spicy ones and dill ones, and they've got all the things. They're great.
Ooh, a spicy pickle. That sounds.
Oh, they're so good.
That sounds lovely.
Their sweet and spicy dill pickles are phenomenal. Anyhow, he said, "Ooh, where are they?" And I said, "Well, you've been to the farmer's market," and he said, "Nope, never been there." Someone who's born and raised in this area, you've never been to the farmers market.
I grew up with farmers. I didn't need a market.
I guess that tracks, right? I grew up in West Asheville. We didn't have a farm nearby.
I grew up on a farm, actually. You know what our farmer's market was? The garden, which is right yonder.
I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, it's hard for me to wrap my brain around that all the weekends that we would get up and I would go with my grandparents or somebody over to the farmer's market to get the fresh victuals for the weekend, to go see the Coates brothers.
If Amy looked at me right now and said, and she got up all chipper on a Saturday, which she does, and she said, I want to go to the farmer's market, I would have an inner conflict of, do I do this to make my wife happy? Or do I take out my gun and shoot myself in the foot because I think that would be less painful?
Wow.
For some reason, I don't like people, okay? I like my people. I don't like shopping. I don't like anything that has a whole mess of people, unless there's booze, all right? If there's beers, all right. You get 2 or 3 domestic lights in me, I become a much friendlier person. Malls, out. Farmers markets, out. Anything that could involve a person I don't know accidentally touching me, out.
Unless you're at a strip club, and then that's okay.
You weren't going to like my response to that, so we're just going to glean over that.
We're just going to clean over that. I don't know. It's just, Ben Whitley says, daily draft, pickles.
Clausen dill, Clausen bread and butter, anything Clausen. That is the winner. It's all of them.
I'll take all of the DJs and I win. Because not only are they better, not only are they, I could source those pickles better, but it's locally grown.
Source them? What do you mean source them?
You know where they came from.
I've watched you with my own 2 eyes eat a highly questionable hot dog from a gas station. Sure. So before you go all Farmer John Brown on me about needing to source your pickles,
look,
I've seen you eat things that could be barely consistent. They could barely be called food.
It's not just a quality thing. You don't know where these pickles are coming from. You don't know what kind of terrorist organization you might be funding by buying pickles that are not locally sourced.
At Sports Tech ESPN.
I don't want to end up, back in the pickle cartel because I didn't want to get local grown cucumbers.
The pickle cartel.
I'm just making stuff up at this point.
All right.
Anyway,
Tank had a heart attack, started eating lettuce, and all of a sudden he's Bobby Flay.
I'm a connoisseur of all things rabbit food.
We have a lovely 1987 Spam potted meat with a saltine cracker.
I'm going to need you, all of you, not just Flostradamus Jeremy Greene, all of you, to go over to DJ's Pickles at the Western North Carolina Farmers Market. It's a locally owned business.
I mean, are you going to bring me one?
They're not paying me for this. Nope. I'm just saying that they are the best pickle on the planet. And if you save your jars, they'll give you and bring it back, they'll give you $1 off your next order.
Patrick Holt, he wins comment of the day. Tank doesn't support Big Pickle.
Nope. I'm all about the little guy.
You would be.
We need love too, okay? Anyhow. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville.
Oh, why do any of you people listen to us?
880 AM and 1400. Just having some fun here on a Tuesday afternoon. There's business things to attend to. So, programming note, we'll not be here tomorrow.
Correct.
Another Wednesday matinee game tomorrow for the Atlanta Braves. We will not have an abbreviated show for you tomorrow, though, as we'll be taking.
That's why I'm giving it all I got today.
Well,
I'm
you
giving her
certainly
all
have-
she's got, Captain.
You certainly have. Just, I think the temperature in this studio went up 100 degrees since we started with all the hot air that you've been forcing into this room. As the first 2 hours of the program, all dominated by the discussions of what in the hell are other sports going to do as the NFL continues to dominate each and everything. Here's another example. I thought this was hilarious. A number one story today in the sports world was what? What was the A story?
Don't know. I mean, Caitlin Clark.
There you go.
The Caitlin Clark.
It's easy. It's not that hard. That wasn't a trick question. The A story today was the women's Final Four. Caitlin Clark exercising the demons against LSU. And then UConn making another women's Final Four as well. The AP feed this morning. That was the last story in the top headlines of the day. The women's Final Four was the last story. Everything else rated above that. You can call that what you want. I just thought it was a very interesting note of the day. They're throwing in that what was it? The defamation suit from the Arizona Cardinals. That was the A story for the AP. And we wonder why the AP is not doing so well.
Not going so hot.
Just, you got to give the women's game its due. Last night was the biggest game in women's basketball history. I'll be shocked if it doesn't pull a number bigger than anything.
I can tell you there were more wagers across sports books on that game than any other game that happened yesterday.
Were there?
By a lot.
Well, there was nothing else going on.
You had full slate of Major League Baseball, full slate of NBA, although that full slate of NBA left a little bit to be desired.
I was going to say, I'm going to reiterate my point. There was nothing else going on. There was nothing else to compete with it. My question is, what would that number have been if it had been on say that had been played on Sunday? You think that number would have been comparable?
I do.
I don't.
I do. I think it would have been comparable, especially to Purdue, Tennessee. A lot of money went down on NC State because people love to ride the Lightning with an underdog like that. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been comparable, if not higher.
The viewership number?
Oh, I was talking about the betting number.
I was talking about the viewership number. The betting number, probably, yes. It would have been the same. I don't think the viewership number would have been the same.
I think the women's game would have done a number on, especially once NC State made their run.
Well, because this is what they're telling us. This is what they've been trying to push to us for basically the entire year. Jeremy said it several times. Women's basketball is now more popular than men's basketball, and I don't agree with it.
And it'd be like not agreeing that it's Tuesday.
Really?
Now you catch a Duke game, which is the second most popular brand in all of college basketball. Mm-hmm. Okay, I will give you that. Duke might have beaten. I'll go ahead and tell you, Tennessee Purdue would not have.
Maybe
no
not.
shot.
Maybe not. But the 15 million people you said watched the Duke NC State game. There's not a women's game that would compete with that. If they were on at the same time.
That game on CBS would have done a number very comparable to that. They don't have that deal.
If they were on at the same time.
I think you would have had – so we were talking earlier about numbers and how the numbers work.
Yeah.
You have a consistent viewership and then an intermittent viewership. I think you would have had a lot of switching between the two.
Okay.
Now, I will also say this: the powers that be in women's college basketball is really smart to put that on a day all by itself.
Exactly.
On probably the worst NBA slate I've seen all year.
That's why they do that.
No doubt.
That's why
that's smart.
Yeah, that's why they stagger the tournament this way, is so that we can get some eyeballs on it. Because you're just not getting the eyeballs that you would when you have to share the stage.
I don't think the men's tournament would take as much away from them as you think. I don't have the numbers on that in front of me. I know nobody that I have talked to has had an issue with where that tournament has rated, and they've competed with each other 3 of 4 days every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And the men's tournament is up 1%.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just said, we're the same. It's fine. We're up year over year. How much? 1.2%.
I mean,
sweet.
For last weekend. The first weekend was like, I think it was a 15% increase, something like that, for the first weekend.
Because you can bet it.
Mm-hmm.
This was also a really good year to bet. Because there wasn't a lot of difference between the 5s and the 12s.
Right.
Then again, there tends to not be very often.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, if you're interested in making a little money with the DraftKings Sportsbook app, I think now would be a perfect time to get in on the action, correct?
Of course it is, because it's legal. And you can go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and it doesn't matter what it is that you like, whether you wanted to bet on Iowa LSU last night, if you want to knock out a couple baseball bangers a day, over-unders, anything you want, you can do it from your mobile phone with DraftKings Sportsbook. And for a limited time, new customers who sign up with our promo code, WPEK, and bet $5 will receive $200 instantly in bonus bets. Whether you prefer those player props, whatever it is you're after, you can do it with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using code WPEK. Bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code WPEK. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only, new customers only. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit wagering and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day, but when we're driving, cooking, working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Call 844-ADD-HELP-5. That's 844-ADD-HELP-5.
It's the moment you dream of, the moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for, the moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time, the moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you won't find PTSD by looking at a thermometer. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a bandage. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy. Heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just wanted to throw this one out there for all of the Red Sox fans, for all of the Baltimore Orioles fans as well. Today, a little sad day. Larry Lucchino passed away at the age of 78. He was the president of the Red Sox back when they broke the streak. In fact, led the team through 3 World Series wins in recent memory. And, of course, he was part of the Baltimore Orioles organization, helped the Padres build their new stadium. Long history of doing some great things for some baseball teams in Major League Baseball. Larry Lucchino dead at the age of 78. T's and P's to the families. NFL rumors, as far as the NFL draft are concerned, J.J. McCarthy's name continues to get thrown around as, well, all of the quarterbacks, they're the ones.
I swear to you, I'm getting to the point where I don't know if you ever saw the did you ever see the South Park episode where they had the dish, it was microb, and they started using that as an obscenity?
Microb?
Yeah, because it's awful. It's terrible.
Which one is that?
It's a South Park episode.
Mm.
It's like an appetizer, and it tastes terrible. And so they used it in place of the poo bad word. J.J. McCarthy's name is getting into that vein for me where you could just say that in place of falafel and I would be fine. I'm so tired of hearing about this kid. Nothing has changed. And yet he somehow is just dominating this draft cycle.
Mm-hmm. Because he's the unknown commodity. I feel like everybody else has made up their minds on what everybody else is. Or you get locked in on Caleb Williams as the number 1 pick. Some people get locked in on Jaden Daniels as number 2, Drake May's number 3, then that leaves J.J. McCarthy. But then you have, the lying season. Right, you got rumors out there that Washington would take J.J. McCarthy at 2, and now you've got the New England Patriots linked to J.J. McCarthy at 3.
There is a rumor out there. Tyson Carter said this earlier in our YouTube chat that Elliot Wolf is, quote, pushing for
yes,
J.J. McCarthy.
Yes.
I don't necessarily believe that. And it is lying season. I agree with all the things that you just said. I think there's something more to it. It's a foregone conclusion that Caleb Williams is going 1.
Yes.
I believe it's a foregone conclusion that Jaden Daniels is going 2.
Okay.
I don't believe I believe there are some teams that are not dead sold on Drake May, and that's where this J.J. McCarthy thing is coming from. It's not so much that they love him, it's that they don't love Drake. And there are certain tapes that, trust me, if that's what you're really focused on, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're missing the point, but I get it.
Yeah, I don't see it. But there again, that should tell you everything that you need to know about Drake May. There have been a lot of quarterbacks that I've been all in on of this guy's going to be successful at the next level and then never turned out to do squirt. So maybe I'm wrong about Drake May. It's just I look at Drake and go, he's got all the physical tools. He's got the arm. I think he's got the accuracy. He's got the pocket presence. He's got the mobility. To me, he's got everything you could possibly want in a quarterback prospect. Especially, maybe not if you're picking at 1, maybe not if you're picking at 2, but if you're picking anywhere lower than that, to me, he's a franchise guy.
I don't see
where
where the hesitation is coming on him.
Well, the hesitation is the bad tape and the perception. And there's no doubt about that. He doesn't play in the best conference, which I would make the argument Caleb Williams didn't exactly play in a defensive stalwart conference either.
No.
Either time, in the Big 12 or in the Pac-12. I feel like you're not you. I feel like the industry on the whole is overthinking themselves with this. To me, the top three, whatever order you want to have them in, I get it. Okay, if you like Drake better, okay. If you like Caleb better, okay. Jaden Daniels is my guy. That's the guy I would take at 1. I've been pretty unabashed about that. That would be my guy. Once you get past those 3, if they don't go in an order that is McCarthy, Penix, Nix, I will be shocked. Because Penix at least has something that I understand what you're falling for, because the tape is just intoxicating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get what it is you're seeing with McCarthy. I don't get what you could possibly be seeing on tape that you go, there it is. I mean, yeah, he can spin out of tackles. He's very mobile, so is Drake. What does J.J. McCarthy do better than Drake may? That's where this falls apart to me. And that's why I do think it's a lying season thing. I think Arizona is trying to drum up interest. I think they're probably the biggest culprit of this. Today, they've got Malik Neighbors in the building today, which should tell you a lot. I don't think anybody would take Neighbors over Marvin Harrison Jr. outside of the Chargers because they need a slot guy so bad.
Oh, you think this is an anticipation?
I do.
That MHJ will be gone at 3?
I wish there was, and there may be one of these at some point before we're all said and done. How many trades do the Arizona Cardinals make in the first round? Because if the over-under was 1.5, I would take the over.
Okay.
I don't really see a path that they're – the McCarthy thing's getting so loud that it's getting harder for me to believe that you can just sit there and take Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, is it possible that you could drop back to 11 then jumped up to 5? That's possible. I know it sounds insane when you say that. The Chargers are a team that looks at this draft like, we need a good amount of stuff. So, yeah, it'd be nice to have Marvin Harrison. It'd be nice to have Malik Neighbors. We can also trade back to 11, pick up an extra first-round pick, and be in better shape.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is one of those times. It's almost – you ever watch a movie and you know how it's going to end before it ends, and you see all the events leading up, and you're just looking at the main character going, stop. You're going to die. All right? You're going to die. I know how this ends. Stop opening doors because the big scary person is behind that door, and he's going to put an axe in your forehead. Stop that. That's exactly how I'm looking at Minnesota and Denver. You've just put yourself in this position that you have to do something at quarterback. You have to. And I've said this time and time again. This is where teams go super, super sideways. You and I were talking about redrafts. As I was looking at the, 2019 draft?
Yeah, 2019 draft.
I wait 5 years out. That's when I start doing redrafts of where would that go. And I'm working on the one from 2019 now. When you go back and do that, it always blows my mind year over year how often there are position players, and a lot of times it's edge rushers. 2019 was a great year for that because you had Max Crosby and Nick Bosa. It shocks me how often you can take what I think is a good quarterback that went at number 1. In this instance, it's Kyler Murray. And you look at how many players, if you had it to do over again, you would take over them. I've always wondered how many teams actually do that. How many teams go back and look at their board and compare it to how it broke down, and they look at guys and go, maybe we should stop doing this. Maybe we should stop shoehorning quarterbacks, because I don't think anybody with an IQ above salad dressing thought Kyler Murray was the best player in that draft. Cliff Kingsbury did. The Cardinals took him at 1 because they needed a quarterback.
Yep.
But just look at how many guys you miss. They missed on Nick Bosa, who is now in your division and is an absolute terror. You missed on Quinnen Williams, who to me was the best player in that draft. And yes, you can say I'm a Jets fan and I'm biased. Go back and pull the tape. That's exactly what I said back then too.
But can he win you games? Is Nick Bosa going to win you games? Is Quinnen Williams going to win you games?
Who's a better
by
quarterback?
himself?
Nobody wins games by themselves.
But
the quarterback's not winning. That's what you just said is a myth. There's no quarterback on this planet that is winning games by themselves.
No,
and that's my argument.
But they have way more ability to impact a game than
when they're elite.
Bosa does.
When they're elite. Who impacts games more right now, Kyler Murray or Nick Bosa? Take Bosa off the 49ers, take Kyler Murray off the Cardinals. Which team changes more?
The Arizona Cardinals.
Disagree with you.
Okay.
You're not winning games with Kyler Murray, so it's kind of hard for me to say, what are you going to do, go 0-17? I mean, they win 4 games last year?
Mm-hmm. Of the, 8 that he played?
I mean,
6 that he played? What was it?
And to me, he's a top 10 quarterback in this league, back into the top 10, high end side of the teens.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Bosa makes that defense. They just went to the Super Bowl. I could make the argument without him. I'm not even 100% sure you're a playoff team. That's what the team's built on. Look at Quinnen Williams with the Jets. How different is that defense? We just talked about them yesterday. That's the team both of us would take to win the AFC East right now. Without Quinnen Williams, you feel as good about that?
It wouldn't change my
It would change mine completely, and I've watched every play he's ever played. Because he is what that defense is built around. It's him and Sauce. Everything else, having Jermaine Johnson is great. Having Hassan Reddick will be great. Having C.J. Mosley, he would be the third one in that, by the way. There's one in every layer. Having DJ Reed, that's fantastic. As long as I've got Sauce, as long as I got C.J. Mosley, as long as I got Quinnen Williams, I will be fine. Now, if your quarterback's absolute dog water, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me I go from Kyler Murray to a league average quarterback, which for me would be, if we're going league average starter, you're probably at Brock Purdy. If you're going league average quarterback, period, I'm probably going Tyrod Taylor. I'm not sure that Tyrod Taylor wouldn't have gone 4-13 with that Cardinals team this year. I just don't think there's that big of a difference. Kyler's better. I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah.
In terms of the result with what you've got around him, I don't think you see a big difference in that.
No.
I guess that's what I'm looking at with Minnesota, and please don't do what I know you're getting ready to do. Because how many more games is J.J. McCarthy going to win than Sam Darnold? I would make the argument it'd actually be more with Sam for 1 year.
For now, yeah.
I'm not sure that ever changes.
No.
Talent for talent, I don't see how anybody looks at those two guys and goes, J.J. McCarthy's better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it.
Higher
Never
ceiling.
seen it.
Higher ceiling maybe, but
higher ceiling, okay. I would say that's incremental at best.
Mm-hmm.
And the floor is 17 floors lower.
For JJ?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a possibility that he would be, I'm not going to say Jamarcus Russell bad. I could see a path where J.J. McCarthy is Jake Locker bad. That's the comp I keep using.
Just because he doesn't have the physical tools to
You're too worried
that
about physical tools. I hate, there is nothing that gets under my skin worse than talking about quarterbacks when people say, oh, he's got physical tools. They all have physical tools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the 5 best arms I've ever seen, 4 of them were busts.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, I was just at the Senior
J.J.
Bowl.
McCarthy is a dum-dum.
I didn't say it was. That's not what I said.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, how does he go down the path of biggest bust ever?
Watch the tape. I mean, this is kind of like talking about porn. I mean, I can't really describe to you what it is, but if you look at it and watch him, and you watch Jaden Daniels, you're not seeing the same kind of quarterback. You're just not. They're not. They're not even in the ballpark of the same kind of talent, and you're going to take them 2 spots away from each other. It fails every time we do this. Every time I start hearing, well, we're projecting what he will be, I could not tell you the last time that worked. And people will say Josh Allen. Josh Allen was a disaster for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Then you gave him Stephon Diggs, and you really played into what he is. That wasn't projecting. We knew Josh Allen was a BDD that could run like a dump truck and had a cannon. I don't know that J.J. McCarthy can complete an NFL pass because I didn't see him do it consistently. A lot of what he did when he did his best work at Michigan, it was with a loaded box because I run constantly. They never trailed. ever in the entire 2 years that he was the number one, no doubt starter. I think they trailed grand total 3 quarters over the course of 2 years. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing 7-man drop boxes. I'm not seeing passing fronts. They got 7 dudes in the box because they think I'm going to run. I've got a wide receiver that's way better than a corner, and he can play pitch and catch. That ain't the NFL, bruh. That's not how this works. If it was, Jamarcus Russell would have been Peyton Manning. He wasn't. And I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm saying I've never seen him do what he's going to be asked to do. And you're projecting this. To me, that would be like looking at somebody that's really adept at driving in traffic. Like you live in a big city and you can weave in between lanes, and somebody sees that and you stop and they walk up to your window and go, I own a NASCAR team. Would you like to drive my car? I'm asking you to do something completely different than what you just did. Because there aren't teams in the NFL, especially not with guys that go in the top 5, that we're just going to grind it out 3 yards in a cloud of dust and you'll throw it 22 times a game, because that's what he's built to do. That's a third-round guy, which is why I have a third-round grade on him. And if you want to build an old-school Baltimore Ravens-type team from a handful of years ago, the way they had Lamar Jackson, okay, I think your ceiling on that's really limited. And they figured that out too and went and got a pass-happy offensive coordinator and steered into that and got him a number 1 wide receiver, and that's the most successful I've seen them be. There's a reason for that. There's a reason that Derrick Henry's now in that backfield, because Tennessee tried to do this. And nope, we're going to overpay Calvin Ridley. We got DeAndre Hopkins. We got big arm Will Levis. We're going to beef up the offensive line because that's the way the game's played. You're bringing in a player that is not built for the modern NFL. He's just not. The best thing I can say about him is he's really mobile. Stop worrying so much about mobile quarterbacks. I get that. I feel like this year that has been in hyperspeed of people telling me how mobile quarterbacks are.
Mm-hmm. Because you have to be.
You have to be. You have to have the ability to move. I am not going to say you have to be mobile. Aaron Rodgers at this point is a borderline statue. Tom Brady was a statue. Peyton Manning was a statue. Now, if you are a statue, you pretty well better be an elite thrower of the football. Mm-hmm. Pat Mahomes is agile. I've never really looked at him and said, oh, he's super mobile. He can run if things break down. If he didn't have an arm like that, okay, so you were getting ready to disagree with me there. Go back and watch the tape, and when you see him run, watch how many times that's 6 men with their backs turned to him.
Yeah.
Because you got a 5-man front.
And to me,
that's not mobile.
To me, mobile is more than just running, though. Mobile is mobility in the pocket, your ability to escape, and nobody was better at that than Tom Brady.
But that's not mobile. Mobile, the term, because you're using it in 2 different ways. What I'm talking about is people coming up saying, I need a guy that can run. That's what I'm talking about. An ability to move around in the pocket, that's what Brady had.
Yeah, I don't care about a guy who can
The
run.
perk of all of these guys is that they can literally run.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams can take off and run. Jaden Daniels can run real fast. So can Michael Penix. And the drawback,
McCarthy can too.
That's where I was headed.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing I have for him. I don't like that. Because at the end of the day, you look at the guys that are the best quarterbacks in the league, they're all elite throwers of the football. Josh Allen, he may not be hyper accurate. He has a cannon. Unlike hardly anybody in this league. And if you want me to tell you why that mobile thing doesn't mean as much to me, look what happened to Jalen Hurts. As soon as NFL teams went, he can't beat us. Let him run. Let him run. I don't care. I do not care. You can do all this gimmicky crap and all this touche-bouche that you want to do. You're not going to beat me that way. I will make you beat me with your arm. And now, for one season, you were the most overpaid quarterback in the NFL for a year. Not in what you were paid last year, but your contract was the most disproportionate to what I got out of you. Him and Deshaun Watson. And I just look at J.J. McCarthy and go, I don't know what you're saying, but I don't think this is going to go the way you want it to.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. When we come back from the break, it'll be time for the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
The warmth continues into the afternoon, should push it up into the middle part of the 80s, and we're going to highlight the chance for strong to potentially severe storms as we head into tonight. Now we're under a slight risk for severe weather. So partial sun, let's go 84 and breezy today. Tonight, that threat for showers and thunderstorms goes up, probably just after sunset. Some of those storms potentially severe. And thunder showers will taper off to just showers on Wednesday. Partly sunny otherwise, breezy and 60. Thursday, much cooler, mostly sunny highs in the upper 40s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is introducing the new Cantina Chicken menu with the new Cantina Chicken Burrito, Quesadilla, Bowl, and Tacos. Featuring their new slow-roasted chicken. Try the new Cantina Chicken menu today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
The good folks at Wendy's have a revolutionary new product for you. Introducing the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. It's like a time machine that takes you all the way back to now, the year 2024. It's the classic, creamy, orangey flavor you remember. Dare I say, it's new-timey. It's the flavor you grew up with, just all grown up. Head over to your local Wendy's establishment and get yours while supplies last. The new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. Here for the now, for now.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's.
It's the moment you dream of, the moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for, the moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time, the moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
This election year, there are so many issues that divide us.
Which candidate will wind up with the task of trying to unite us?
Join us as the future unfolds on News Radio 570 WWNC.
Western North Carolina's election station.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
We're back at the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. It's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
I didn't feel that one as you had took a little off of that one.
You pregnant pause there. Let me try again. Don't do crimes!
There we go. It's a little effort. That's all we ask for. I mean, you are getting a day off tomorrow. So,
yes.
You know.
Yes, I am.
Put a little extra oomph into that. I'm going to go up to Boston, up to the Boston metro area for this story, where a man has been charged after allegedly participating, I guess I should say not just participating, orchestrating, thinking up, and carrying out, allegedly, 7 break-ins in one night. The guy thought he had a perfect scam going. Dressed up as a delivery driver, and then he would show up to the house or to the apartment. Actually, there's a lot of apartments that were broken into here. He would knock on the door. He would find somebody who would say, they'd let him in the building, leave the package at the door or whatever. He would go in, and then he would just test the door. And if the door opened, he would reach inside, grab whatever he could, and bolt, right? Whatever's right inside the door. So he was picking up, things that
people leave at their front doors. Wallets, keys. Do you do that? You come immediately in your door and that's where you leave all the important stuff? Because I don't.
Yes.
You do?
Mine usually go in my hat. I mean, if anybody ever wanted to get really crafty and wanted to rob me, you would not have to make it far in my door. The only problem is that there's a big pissed off guy on the other side of that door with a whole mess of bang-bangs that I wouldn't personally, but, I mean, more power to you.
I don't know. I've just always thought that was weird. That's, I see
have a
like...
table.
I know you have a table. I know you have a table. I see this in like movies and stuff. People have the little bowl that sits by the door that's got the key, the credit cards and the wallet and everything. Like, all it would take is one Jose Encarnacion, that's the actual guy in this story's name, to show up, open your door and go, oh, look, that's mine, and then bolt.
Well, my only rebuttal to that would be, I wake up when flies accidentally touch their wings together, and I sleep on my couch accidentally way more than you would want.
Yes.
And it would only take me one half-eye open bang-bang for you to look at your arm and go, look, I can see you through the hole.
Oh, no. Anyway, so he's posing here as, the DoorDash guy, mobile food delivery guy. 7 houses he hit in one night, got the credit cards and some cash and various other, electronics and stuff, phones and things like that. So the cops start tracing all of the houses that got hit in that night. They trace they trace the expenses on the credit cards, and 2 days after the break-ins happen, the cop goes to a local gas station where the card had been used 2 days before, right after it had been stolen. He goes in there to get the security camera footage from the gas station, and what did he find when he got there? The guy. The guy was in the parking lot. The vehicle that they had the tag number for was in the parking lot of the same damn gas station that he used the credit card at, not 24 hours, 36 hours ahead of time. It was a very open and shut case, if you will, of, oh, hey, I'm going to need you coming with me. He's been charged. He has been caught. And he is today's example of the stupidest criminal in Boston.
My story is about something near and dear to my heart, and that is, why do some of you live in the cities you live in? Today's example comes from Oakland, California, also known as Cesspool number 47.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you a story, but this is my favorite way to tell crime stories. I'm going to tell you a story, but I'm going to leave out a couple very integral parts of the story. It's about a man named Victor Silva. He has graffiti. He has a graffiti issue. His fence and other things around his house, they're covered in graffiti. He has now been fined by the city $1,100 for the graffiti that surely he put up on his fence, right?
No.
Okay. They said, we're going to give you this $1,100 fine, and if you don't rectify it, we're going to give you a requisite $1,277 fine every time you fail the inspection when we come back out to see if the graffiti is still on your fence. What did I leave out of that story?
Don't know.
Victor Silva Sr., left the senior out the first time, is a 102-year-old man in a wheelchair that can't paint over the graffiti that some jackass put on his fence. Then you find him because the vagrant that you won't punish and put into a jail cell where he belongs put it on the fence. There's another part of this I left out. There's a power box, ConMed box, right beside his house. It was graffitied too. Hey, did the city pay a fine? Did the city pay a fine?
Did y'all remove your graffiti?
I swear to you, we don't do politics here, but my name's on the door, so I'm going to go about 30 seconds here. If some of y'all don't stop voting for these absolute morons like the mayor of Oakland, I don't know that I'm not going to have to move to Canada because I've had about all of it I can have.
But we got to keep the city clean. Do you, though? Because you're failing pretty much everywhere else.
Then punish the vagrant that's graffitiing it.
You can't do that. You're not getting the money out of them. This is how
I doubt you're getting the money out of a man that was born in 1922 either.
100%. I'm going to get it one way or the other.
I'll bet you don't.
There's one way that, there is some way that they will be able to get that money out of him. Put a lien on his house or something.
Oh, yeah. He's super worried about you putting a lien on his house.
It's all in the charter somewhere.
How will he ever refi it? 90 days to close. I hope I make it that far.
Maybe. Never know.
Ugh. Some of these cities I just look at and go, are you stupid? That's my new
That's
is my
my
favorite phrase. What are you, stupid? And it seems to be aimed at politicians more often than it's aimed at anybody else.
Well, of course it is, because they're in charge of things, and they do stupid stuff all the time.
There are some of them that I actively look at and go, do you just not want to get reelected? Because you're doing a mighty fine job. And you can read into that whatever you want to.
They do that all the time. They've done that here. $1,200 a fine days. Or $1,200 a day fines where you have to remove the graffiti from your own property that you didn't put there. It's the government grift. And it'll never stop. And they'll constantly pick on the ones who obey the laws. That's the problem. We're the only ones that'll pay.
9 scariest words in the English language. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
No doubt.
$1,200 fine to a 102-year-old man. Get out of here. Hey, when we find the vagrant that did this, how many times did you let him off on a written promise? 64? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like what you just said. Oh, shoot. You know what? I'm going to go home and cry that you don't like me. I will cry myself to sleep tonight.
Oh, you're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
People are talking about Summit Dental in Asheville. Just check out their Google reviews. One patient writes, I'll start by saying I really hate going to the dentist. My anxiety is always through the roof and I'm always so nervous. However, Summit Dental may be the first place that my anxiety is actually not going through the roof. The staff that works at Summit are an incredible team. They're kind, knowledgeable, and funny. I left feeling confident that we have a plan to help restore my teeth and get me on track to a better smile. Find out more about Summit Dental at AshevilleSummitDental.com or call 828-277-6868.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades. Regenerative medicine. If you are tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkupp. Dr. Scheinkupp is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about some exciting options. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. Need to whip up a dessert, entree, side dish? No problem. The experts from the Ingalls Table take you through it step by step with expert tips and advice along the way. Find the Ingalls Table at ingalls-markets.com or swing by the store and pick up your free copy of the Ingalls Table magazine. And let's get cooking. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. You know, it's been fun for the last couple of weeks playing with the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Fun's not over. You've got more going on. You got the NBA. You got Major League Baseball.
UFL.
NASCAR, you got the UFL, if you want to go down that route. If there is a sport that exists on this planet, you can find it on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The other day, I was scrolling through, when I got up in the morning at 4 a.m., and there was, I think there was cricket. I think it was cricket I was looking at going on in India that I could get a live wager in on if I wanted to any hour of the day. Now, DraftKings Sportsbook app is live in the state of North Carolina and is an official sports betting partner of NASCAR, and you can legally bet on all those sports that I mentioned and any more that you can find with DraftKings. And for a limited time, new customers who sign up with the promo code WPEK and bet $5 will receive $200 instantly in bonus bets. They have the best features on DraftKings, including same-game parlays, player props, plus fast and easy payouts right at your fingertips. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using code WPEK and bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, again with the code WPEK. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC. NASCAR is not a promotion, or is not a sponsor of this promotion and used under license. Having a lot of fun with the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I have, everything in moderation, right? So went heavy on the college basketball. Maybe take a day or two, and then we'll regroup.
I'm going heavy on the NFL draft. No big deal. Going to have some of those over the course of the next few weeks before we get to Draftmas. Speaking of Draftmas, we still have our viewer mock draft. It appears that we're going to do that in the show. That seems to be the vote of many of the requisite GMs.
Okay.
In this, we still got teams available. So if you want to get in, we basically saved it for people that watch us on YouTube because you would have to have access to a computer to do this. Because when your turn comes up, you have 2 minutes to make a pick.
Mm-hmm.
So, boop, got to have the ability to hit the button.
Yep.
We are going to post it on our social medias tonight with the teams that we still have available. There are 12. I think we have 12 teams left.
Okay.
And we have co-pilot spots for a few teams, but we'll put that out there. If you want to be involved with that, I think we will do that either Thursday or Friday. And we'll have a time nailed down at some point in the next 24 hours.
Okay. All right. So
3-round mock draft. Mm-hmm. You get to pick my team. I really hope you don't give me a team that doesn't have a first-round pick because that would make me very sad. And we'll go listener mock.
You'll stick Jeremy with the Carolina Panthers.
Nope. I would. Carolina's already got 2, but I would have done that one.
No.
I just don't want a team that, like Cleveland, they pick at 54. I want a first-round pick.
All right, the fan mock draft. Look for that on the socials at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. Follow us, like us, share us with your friends. No doubt about it. Coming up tomorrow, we will not be here for you at noon. We'll be back with you on Thursday, though. We've got Atlanta Braves baseball coming to you tomorrow afternoon at 2 right here on ESPN Asheville as the baseball season wages on. And ready for my team to get off of the West Coast. Night games suck. I hate West Coast games when I got to get up early in the morning. It's one of the ways that, well, baseball kind of screws me during the season.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'd be locked in. If it wasn't for West Coast games, 162, 3 hours a day. So I just got copious amounts of time on my hand to watch dudes throw a ball at each other.
Mm-hmm. 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 All that draft miss tape he's been watching. Hard to peel yourself away from it, right? We'll have all of the draft miss news coming your way on Thursday here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. And before we get out of here, I do have to remind you that ESPN Asheville all this month involved in a very special contest with our good friends over at Balkan Roofing. It is roofing for a reason. Go to ESPNAVL.com, click on Balkan Roofing's Roofing for a Reason. We've got the icon right there up on the front page. Click through to that. You know, somebody who needs a new roof, somebody who might have had a tough time in the last few years. It's been hard for a lot of families to get back on their feet. Maybe they need a new roof but just can't afford it right now. It's your opportunity to nominate a homeowner for a free roof from Balkan Roofing. Roofing for a Reason. It's live now at ESPNAVL.com. We will see you on Thursday.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
The warmth continues into the afternoon, should push it up into the middle part of the 80s, and we're going to highlight the chance for strong to potentially severe storms as we head into tonight. Now we're under a slight risk for severe weather. So partial sun, let's go 84 and breezy today. Tonight, that threat for showers and thunderstorms goes up, probably just after sunset. Some of those storms potentially severe. And showers, thunder showers will taper off to just showers on Wednesday. Partly sunny otherwise, breezy and 60. Thursday, much cooler, mostly sunny highs in the upper 40s. For the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is introducing the new Cantina Chicken menu with the new Cantina Chicken Burrito, Quesadilla, Bowl, and Tacos, featuring their new slow-roasted chicken. Try the new Cantina Chicken menu today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up. From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.